If you've ever thought Cinco de Mayo is nacho average holiday, go ahead and hit that like and subscribe button, folks, and welcome back to another episode of Benzinga's Pre-Market Playbook. And happy Cinco de Mayo. It is indeed May 5th, 2026. We've got a market that's got some green arrows here today. We made it through yesterday. We've got AMD earnings coming tonight. We're going to make the best of that. We're going to have some fun, as always. We're going to make some trades here today. And it is also a T3 Tuesday, so we're going to bring you a T3 guest. We have Anne-Marie following the show as well. So we got a full slate for you here on Cinco de Mayo before you go out and get your Cinco de Mayo food and beer, which I'm sure is going to happen at some point today. Benzinga's Pre-Market Playbook, the Tuesday edition for May 5th, Cinco de Mayo 2026, begins right now. Good morning and welcome back, folks. I hope that you all had a wonderful rest of your Monday. I know you Knick fans did. We're back here for another episode of Benzinga's Pre-Market Playbook, and thankfully we've got some green arrows to hear today. We'll see if they hold up. Great to see a whole bunch of returning faces. Cam is first today. Way to go, Cam. Wagwan. I have no idea what that means, but it sounds like it came from the heart. So good stuff, buddy. Glad to have you here. Early bird gets the worm. Jane, good morning. Indeed. Happy Cinco de Mayo. Derek, it's great to see you as always. Welcome back. Good morning. Crispy biscuit, excuse me. Good morning. Peter says, good morning. It's cool here today, and we have snow tomorrow. Colorado, snowing on May 6th. That sounds like fun. No snow here in Chicago. It is cool, though, and actually it looks like it's going to rain quite a bit here today. We shall see. Good morning, Peter. Great to have you back. Zach McCracken, good morning. Welcome back. Fun fact about the space ticker Sidus, Sidus Space. The word Sidus in Latin is a noun that means a star, constellation, or heavenly body. Okay, so that company is aptly named, it sounds like. Good stuff, and good morning Zach. Robert, good morning. Francis, good morning. Corey, good morning. Cad Monkey, good morning. Florida Yacht Insurance Guy, good morning. Good to have you back. Hopefully you're well. Yes, that girl, good morning. Buffalo by Bicycle, good morning. Good morning to all except Montreal Canadiens fans. Oh, Buffalo by Bicycle. That's funny. I'm sorry, Matt. Richard Judge, good morning. Welcome back. Producer, thanks for all you do, my man. Good morning and welcome back. Big Bees, good morning. Let's get cranking. Good morning, team. Big Bees, let's do that. Let me know, though. What is on your watch list here today? What are you buying? Are you looking for Intel on maybe a move to and through 100 on the back of the Apple news? Are you trading AMD ahead of the earnings? Where's the target today, Big Bees? What are you looking at here today for your trade? Be very curious to know. Astro Kev, good morning. Welcome back. Tim's not with us today. That'll be tomorrow. Bernhard, good morning. Welcome back. Cam, good morning. Welcome back. Tyler, good morning. Welcome back. Zach says, Intel, I might lose the train, but waiting for a retracement before I get in. I think that's smart. I think eventually you'll get that. You might just have to be more patient if you don't get it in the near term. I still think that's a really good idea, though, Zach. Barb says, good morning, America. Good morning to you, Barb. We'll amplify that message across the states and the world as well. Good morning. Great to have you here. Ed, good morning. First time listening. All right. Well, hopefully you enjoy yourself. What do you have on the watch list here for today? What are you hoping to accomplish here today? Thanks for joining us, Ed. It's great to see you. Astro Kev, good morning. I think I already said Cam, good morning. Durkis, good morning. Linda, good morning. Liam, good morning. Ed Edwards, good morning. Dan Nick, good morning. Lion Atlas, good morning. Tiamo, good morning. GP38 Super, what's shaking? You bacon. Welcome back. Good morning. Robot to Trade, good morning. Kenneth Hertz, good morning. Get to the choppa. Yes, we need that as a drop on the soundboard. I don't know what I'm doing here. Good morning. Welcome back. Neville, good morning. Welcome back. Just passing through. Good morning. Welcome back. Whis, good morning. Mentioned SKK before. Ryan and 13 left yesterday. I hope everyone banked. Whis, this is just another opportunity to shout out that the chat also serves as kind of a scanner. In fact, where's Billy? I feel like we're missing Billy here. Maybe he's on vacation. Anyway, really good stuff, really good mentions. Whis, keep them coming. Even if I don't highlight them, I apologize. You know, we always try to work through a whole bunch here, but folks, pay attention to the chat. Lots of good stuff in there on a daily basis. Whis, we thank you for that. Go Steve D, good morning. Welcome back. Abia, good morning. Welcome back. Lance, good morning. Welcome back. JJ, it's great to see you as always. Welcome back. Graf, good morning. And Kenzo, good morning. All right, folks, let's get started with our stock market today. All right, green arrows across the board ahead of Tuesday's open here. S&P futures up by 0.37%, Dow futures up by 0.32%, and the NASDAQ leading the way higher at 0.57%. Now let's take a look at some cues from last session here and get you all set for the day. Information technology and consumer discretionary stocks closed Friday's session higher, although most sectors on the S&P 500 ended on a negative note, with utilities, energy, and industrials posting the largest losses. U.S. stock futures did rise on Tuesday after Monday's lower close, following the announcement of Project Freedom from President Trump. The U.S. military said on Monday it destroyed 6 Iranian small boats and intercepted Iranian cruise missiles and drones as Tehran tried to disrupt President Trump's new effort to reopen commercial shipping through the Strait of Hormuz. Trump told Fox News on Monday that if Iran attacks American vessels, they will be, quote, blown off the face of the earth, end quote. Asked on the Hugh Hewitt show whether a ceasefire was over or a U.S. attack was imminent, Trump replied, well, I can't tell you that, end quote. Meanwhile, the 10-year Treasury bond yielded 4.42%, and the 2-year bond was at 3.93%. The CME Group's Fed Watch Tool projections show that the markets are pricing in a 95.9% likelihood of the Federal Reserve leaving the current interest rates unchanged during the June meeting. That has started to creep up slightly from the already high 94.8%. Now, we have several stocks in focus here for you today, and the first one is going to be Duolingo, and the ticker on this one is DUOL, and it dropped 12.77% in the pre-market on Tuesday as it beat analyst estimates on the top and bottom lines, but issued a disappointing revenue guidance. For clarity, Duolingo's Q1 EPS of 89 cents beat the 79-cent estimate, And sales of 291.96 million beat the estimate of 288.48 million. However, Duolingo narrows its fiscal year 2026 sales guidance from 1.197 billion to 1.221 billion, that from that range to 1.205 to 1.209 billion. So they came in a little bit, and it's likely what is impacting Duolingo to the downside here. The next stock on our list is Pinterest. The ticker on this one is PINS. It surged 16.59% as it reported better than expected financial results for the first quarter and issued a strong revenue forecast for the second quarter. Pinterest's Q1 adjusted EPS of 27 cents beat the 23 cent estimate. Sales of 1.008 billion beat the estimate of 966.245 million. Pinterest also sees Q2 sales of 1.133 to 1.153 billion. That was versus a 1.114 billion estimate. The next stock on our list is going to be ON Semiconductor, and the ticker on this one is ON. It declined 4.25% despite reporting better than expected first quarter results on Monday after the closing bell. ON Semiconductor's Q1 adjusted EPS of 64 cents beat the 60 cent estimate. Sales of 1.513 billion beat the estimate of 1.487 billion. And ON Semiconductor sees Q2 adjusted EPS of 65 to 77 cents. That was versus 65 cent estimate, so that's at the high end of the range. They see sales of 1.53 to 1.63 billion. Again, that was versus an estimate of 1.526 billion. Now, the next stock on our list is going to be AMD, and this is without a doubt the biggest report of the day. It comes in the after hours here today. And it was 1.94% higher ahead of its earnings scheduled to be released today after the closing bell. Analysts expect it to post earnings of $129 per share on revenue of $9.89 billion. The last stock on our list here today is going to be Inspire Medical Systems, and the ticker on this one is INSP. It plunged 21.04% after the company narrowed full-year revenue guidance to 825 to 875 million, which was down 4 to 10% versus 2025, and adjusted diluted EPS of 75 cents to 125 with an assumed adjusted tax rate of 27 to 29%. All right, let's take a look at the SPY chart, see where we sit ahead of Tuesday's open. As mentioned, we are trading a little bit higher here today, so we're still within the candle from Friday. That candle from Friday did set a new all-time high of 724.87, and we're basically still beneath that. So that 724.87 is definitely going to become a key level here today. I guess if you just want to call it 725, that'll work too. We'll see if we continue to move here to the upside. The first thing that we need to get through is going to be 722, currently at 721.30 here. And just as I had been talking about on the flip side, is we have the 20-day coming up to support the price in case it moves back down. So we'll see how today shakes out. We'll see what AMD's earnings do later. But if the market moves down here, I think that we're really kind of going to be looking for some support here around 706 at this point. It's really been 705 the past several sessions. And the longer it takes to move back down here, the more it's going to take from the the higher, the 20-day moving average is going to be. That too should support it. If we move down quickly, it might be a kind of a light support there, but I am looking for the 20-day to also be a key level to the downside when the SPY does trade down. Looking over at oil here, oil's down 3% here today. So the conflict in the Middle East with whatever's happening there is actually resulting in a higher market here in the pre-market and lower oil. Now we'll see if that changes throughout the course of the day, any day. Something like that is possible. And in fact, we see that quite often. So that's definitely going to be something to watch. But as far as levels here, do we pull back to the trend line about 706, or do we break to new all-time highs, or do we just kind of trade sideways in here? The other thing that we've been mentioning quite a bit is that the move up to and through this trend line that broke us to new all-time highs did happen on very low volume. And that is still the case here. So we'll see. Okay. Let's go ahead and take a look at some insights from analysts here, shall we? LPL Research maintains a positive outlook on the U.S. stock market and the economy, primarily driven by the ongoing AI wave and robust corporate earnings. Liz Ann Saunders actually said the same thing early this morning. Analysts anticipate that massive capital investments in artificial intelligence will continue to power a technology earnings boom, with sector earnings potentially growing over 50% this quarter alone. Despite market highs, LPL believes valuations remain reasonable because, quote, the market is still underappreciating technology's AI-driven earnings power, end quote. The Strategic and Tactical Asset Allocation Committee, or STAC, recently upgraded its recommendation to tactically overweight for equities, expressing a particular preference for the technology and industrial sectors. And that makes sense, right? Tech, and then the picks and shovels for making the data centers. Regarding the broader economy, LPL Research expects productivity enhancements to drive higher profit margins as long as a recession is avoided. While AI adoption may displace some labor, LPL anticipates workers will, quote, reinvent themselves for the new economy, end quote. And this mitigates long-term unemployment risks. The firm concludes that if companies execute their current spending plans and the economy expands, quote, technology appears well-positioned for additional outperformance in the months and years ahead, end quote. LPL telling you technology's not going anywhere, even in the face of a market pullback here. We're likely to see some more of that, and it's likely to go the rest of this year and also multiple years ahead. Real quick peek at the economic numbers here. April's S&P final U.S. services PMI will be out by 9:45. March's job openings, February's delayed new home sales report, March's new home sales, and April's ISM services data will all be out by 10. Fed Vice Chair of Supervision Michelle Bowman speaks at 10, and Fed Governor Michael Barr speaks at 12:30. All times are Eastern, of course. All right, now, Palantir. They reported earnings yesterday. Palantir actually looks like it's trying to go green here in the pre-market. It was actually down a couple of points here today. Turning around here. Palantir's CEO Alex Karp says, quote, we just cannot meet demand, end quote. On Monday, Palantir reported earnings and said its commitment to U.S. national security continues to outweigh all other business priorities. This should come as no surprise to anybody and is absolutely the right move. During Palantir's first quarter 2026 earnings call, CEO Alex Karp told investors the company will always place U.S. defense needs ahead of commercial opportunities. Quote, we will always prioritize the U.S. warfighter over everything else, end quote. And that was from Alex Karp while answering a question from Dan Ives of Wedbush. He highlighted that when national security is at stake, Palantir reallocates company resources accordingly. Karp framed this strategy as a foundational principle rather than a temporary business tactic, saying that the company's defense-first model helps attract mission-driven employees while strengthening its long-term position with government clients. Despite its military-first approach, Karp said commercial demand remains robust, particularly in the U.S., where Palantir reported rapid expansion, quote, our biggest problem currently in the U.S. is that we just cannot meet demand, end quote. The company indicated that both government and enterprise customers increasingly seek Palantir's AI-driven platforms, but its selective deployment strategy means it avoids projects that could dilute execution quality. Karp also criticized competitors. No strange thing for him to do there. Karp also criticized competitors offering what he describes as ineffective or overhyped AI solutions, arguing that Palantir software delivers operational precision rather than superficial tools. Quote, if you want slop, you can go here, end quote. Karp said that, contrasting Palantir's offerings with traditional software vendors. Palantir reported stronger than expected results for the first quarter, with revenue reaching $1.63 billion compared to the analyst estimates of $1.54 billion. Adjusted earnings came in at 33 cents per share, ahead of expectations at 28 cents per share. Overall revenue increased 85% year over year, driven by rapid expansion in the United States, where revenue climbed 104% to $1.28 billion. Within the U.S. segment, commercial revenue surged 133% to $595 million, while government revenue rose 84% to $687 million. This is reflecting broader base demand across both sectors. Looking ahead, Palantir guided second quarter revenue in the range of $1.797 billion to $1.801 billion. That was above Wall Street's estimate of $1.697 billion. The company also raised its full year 2026 revenue outlook to $7.65 billion to $7.66 billion. That's up from its previous forecast of $7.18 to $7.2 billion, and ahead of consensus expectations at $7.27 billion. So Palantir just absolutely crushing it. They're telling you that, hey, biggest problem here is that we can't meet demand. Not a terrible problem to have. And they're also going to continue to prioritize the country's national security first, which makes complete sense. Now, to me, as far as today goes, this makes me wonder if Palantir has the opportunity to close the gap and go green. You know, we've seen that with some of the memory names. They're their own thing. We'll see if Palantir has the strength to do that. Palantir here, pre-market high, 144.20, closed at 146.03. It's down less than $2 from yesterday's close on the back of that report. Okay, next here, we're going to talk about Apple. And this is another story that was breaking here this morning. This is important because a lot of you folks are either still trading Intel or were trading Intel recently. Samsung now, and Apple, Samsung, and Intel making some news here. I thought this story was interesting. We'll see how this one goes. Tekison asking, you muted? No, definitely not. I'm definitely not muted. Apple, ticker AAPL, is exploring potential partnerships with Intel, ticker INTC, and Samsung. Remember, Samsung's an OTC stock. The ticker is SSNLF. Anyway, Apple's exploring potential partnerships to manufacture its processors in the United States, and that is according to a report. The talks are part of the company's efforts to diversify its chip supply chain beyond its reliance on Taiwan Semiconductor, ticker TSM, and the report was Bloomberg. Now, we talked about Taiwan Semiconductor really being one of the big bottlenecks. This is interesting. Intel can't make the advanced chips that Taiwan Semiconductor can, but still being used here. Apple executives had reportedly visited a Samsung facility being built in Texas and also had early conversations with Intel about using its foundry services. None of the talks have produced orders, and the work is still described as preliminary. While these moves could provide Apple with additional manufacturing flexibility, the company is said to have concerns about adopting non-TSMC production technologies, particularly around reliability and the ability to scale output efficiently. The report said Apple's internal discussions are still in an early phase. Now, this part is, I think, important to me, the part that we just talked about there, because one of the things that makes Apple's ecosystem and products so great is how well they work. And now if you're starting to replace some of the components with other components that maybe don't work as well or simply not as powerful, do you lose some of the sheen that the Apple ecosystem and Apple products have? That's yet to be seen, but that's definitely something that we're going to need to keep an eye on as this moves forward here. The move came amid Apple's ongoing challenges with chip availability that affected iPhone sales in the previous quarter. CEO Tim Cook noted that shortages of advanced processors had limited device availability, underscoring the risks of depending heavily on a single supplier. Those processors serve as the core computing component inside the device. And as Apple navigates its supply chain challenges, it's implemented a $100 billion share buyback and raised its dividend by 4%. The iPhone maker reported better than expected second quarter results, exceeding both earnings per share and revenue estimates. Cook characterized the periods as Apple's, quote, best March quarter ever, end quote, highlighting double-digit growth across all geographic segments and record high install base of active devices. Apple's capital strategy is undergoing a quiet but significant transformation as Cook prepares to step down in lieu of John Ternus. The company is quietly rewriting parts of its financial and strategic playbook, signaling a potential end to the era of aggressive cash returns and a move towards net cash neutral. We'll see how investors reward that or not. Industry experts are optimistic about Apple's future. Wedbush's analyst Dan Ives predicts Apple's golden era is near, while Gene Munster sees 10% upside from where we are right here. So let me know what you think on Apple. I know that there's a number of you folks have been trading this recently. Obviously, I'm still long this for an investment purpose, but let me know if you have any new trade ideas here on Apple. One more story, and then we're going to get to our T3 guest here today. Really excited for all of that. I know we've talked about data centers in space, and some of you not really thrilled with that, others intrigued by it. Well, there's more. You can forget data centers in space because this Peter Thiel-backed startup raised millions to fuel ocean-powered compute systems. So I hope you weren't getting tired of that. Ocean-powered data centers now, water and data centers mixing together. We'll see how this one goes. A Peter Thiel-backed startup, Panthalassa, has secured $140 million in a funding round aimed at propelling its AI-powered sea technology. Led by Thiel, the funding round witnessed participation from a mix of new and returning investors such as John Doerr, Mark Benioff's Time Ventures, Mac Levchin's Sci-Fi Ventures, and Founders Fund. The funds will be channeled towards the completion of Panthalassa's pilot manufacturing facility near Portland. Founded in 2016, Panthalassa is working on a technology that merges wave power generated by floating orbs with on-site AI computing. I just want to pause here because we actually interviewed someone that was using wave technology to generate power in a very clean and renewable way. I actually thought that was really cool. Looks like they're also trying to use this for the purpose of data centers. Interesting. The systems transmit data via low Earth orbit satellites. The Oregon-based startup has spent nearly a decade developing technologies in power generation, propulsion, autonomous operations, and computing. Its co-founder and CEO, Garth Sheldon Colson, said that the company has developed offshore technology to harness high-energy waves into reliable, clean power, with Ocean 3 pilots launching this year and a commercial rollout planned for 2027. Meanwhile, Thiel said, quote, extraterrestrial solutions are no longer science fiction. Panthalassa has opened the ocean frontier, end quote. The funding comes at a time when tech giants are exploring solutions to expand beyond land. Last month, Meta Platforms, ticker META, partnered with Overview Energy to power its data centers using space-based solar energy. The system aims for an orbitable demo by 2028 and commercial delivery by 2030, with Meta securing early access to up to 1 gigawatts of capacity. Financial terms, of course, were not disclosed. Earlier this month, Alphabet, ticker GOOG or GOOGL, their CEO Sundar Pichai said space-based AI compute could become the norm within a decade, echoing ideas Elon Musk has long been promoting. Meanwhile, on the lines of Panthalassa, China has embarked on an offshore approach to data centers with Shanghai High Cloud Technology, deploying a facility off Shanghai about 10 meters underwater. This is using seawater cooling to cut energy use and land-based constraints. Notably, the concept of subsea data centers is not new, and Microsoft, ticker MSFT, tried it in 2013 with its now shelved Project Natick. The company said it will apply insights from its underwater operations like vibration effects on its servers to future projects. So for those of you that didn't like data centers in space, what do you think about data centers in the sea? Is that the answer? We shall see. We shall see. Okay. We're going to go back to Pro here. As mentioned, it is Tuesday, which means it is a T3 Tuesday. And folks, I have a very special guest for you. We have a new T3 guest. We are going to be bringing on Mike Shorr. Let's see how he's doing here today. Up. I brought out an empty chair. We'll wait for Mike. Mike, are you there? Can I get a thumbs up? We got a thumbs up. Mike, I'm sorry about that. 35. I ended up bringing on an empty chair, but that's okay. It's a cold open, we call it here in the business. First of all, thanks for joining us. How you doing here? Happy Tuesday.
We're doing pretty good. Still continuing to be surprised by this market.
Hey, you and I are, or you are not alone in that. You and I both, along with the rest of our group here as well. First, before we get started here, get an inside look at Mike Shorr's live trading room at our exclusive short-term options open house beginning May 11th. Real-time trade ideas, live setups, and lessons straight from Mike himself. Mike, I cannot wait to ask you about that and have you explain that. But first, as I do with all of the T3 guests here, I have to ask you about your morning routine.
Sure.
What do you do every day to kind of get yourself prepared for the market, both mentally, physically, maybe petting the dog, doing whatever it needs
Here
to
she
do?
is right now.
Yeah, we're a friend. Animals are a friend of the show here, so no problem at all.
Well, we have plenty here.
Okay, good deal. So tell me about your morning routine. How do you get ready for the day?
Yeah, so I think the first thing is that you don't want to just jump right in. So what I do, if you're a coffee drinker or whatever, or just take a short walk. If it's to walk the dogs, great. If it's to get some air, just to get yourself out of that sleep type of mentality into, okay, now we're getting into the day. Then you just want you want at the very least one, you want to know about any positions that you have on and what they're doing, because you don't want to have something move on you overnight and then you're wondering what you should do. You should need to know that beforehand. If you're a day trader or something like that, then you don't have to worry so much about that. Then you want a general idea of what is going on. You don't need to get into the nitty gritty of everything if you are more of a broad-based trader as opposed to just a few stocks, but having an idea of what's going on. So a good way to do that is to look at your CNBCs, your Benzingas, your Bloomberg, and get an idea of what those major outlets are talking about. Because if they're talking about it, then traders are going to be talking about it and most likely acting on it. So have an idea. Don't wait for the bell and say, okay, well, let's figure out what's going on today. Have an idea. Now, I always say, don't trade with opinions, because as we're saying, this market makes a whole lot of nonsense to me. So, but that doesn't stop me from trading what's in front of me. That's that I say this all the time in the trading room. Trade what's in front of you, not what you think, because the market doesn't care what you think, what I think, or what any of my students think. And so trading with an opinion or guts and things like that, not great. So so get yourself in the right mindset, and get all the morning chores out of the way and everything, so you can focus on what's at hand, because this is real money on the table.
Yeah, absolutely. And I love that, especially the walking part. I asked Scott Redler that. He says, well, we can do push-ups, multiple sets, then a cold plunge and a sauna. And it's like, okay, that's awesome. Walking a little bit more palatable for the rest of us here. And as far as playing what's in front of you, we always say, play the hand you're dealt, right? Your hands are not always going to be pocket aces. You got to play the 2-7 offsuits too. Just make sure that you do it correct. Okay, Mike, so we talked a little bit there about your exclusive short-term options trading open house. Can you talk a little bit about that? Can you talk about the type of trading that you do, what people can expect, and what you're looking for?
Sure. So in general, I would say probably 95% of the trades that we do in the room are meant to be day trades. I can't force you not to make them into day trades, but they're meant to be day trade where we go home flat at the end of the day. Now, that other 5 to 10%, we do swing trading in the room as well. But, especially in a market like this, been doing very little swing trading, because, I don't want to be the one, holding the basket here, and shorting it isn't working. So I'm being very selective on that side. But we have a completely interactive room. I open up the room. I'm in Chicago, so Chicago time, usually around 6:30 in the morning, which would be 2 hours before the open. And then, I'm just going through my morning routine. Sometimes students will have questions during that time or something like that. And then we go bell to bell. And we trade on a short-term basis. Some of the trades are as short as 2 or 3 minutes. Some of them might take 10 or 15 minutes to get out, but it's simple: get out, get in, and it's very it's designed to be new user friendly. I'm going to, of course, teach you all of the things that we do in the room and the theory behind it, but your ability to kind of earn as you learn, that you can just follow signals while you're studying and things like that. And then when you're up to speed, then it's just a really nice interactive room. We're a great group. We actually have nicknames for ourselves and everything like that. And, we spend a lot of time together. So, we make these long distance friends, from all over the world in places.
Yeah, it sounds like you're describing our show here exactly, which is perfect. I try to do the same thing. And I'm thrilled to hear that you're from Chicago. I too am from Chicago in a northern suburb here, which means when you come back in the fall, I get to ask you about the Chicago Bears, and that should be a lot of fun.
All right, then I will definitely do that.
Okay,
maybe we can even catch a game. I actually have tickets. So.
Oh, even better. Glad I said something. I would absolutely love that. It should be good this year. Okay, now really quick, folks, get an inside look at Mike Shorr's live trading room at our exclusive short-term options open house beginning May 11th. Real-time trade ideas, live setups, and lessons straight from Mike himself. Let me just put you on the spot here. What do you like right now? Or in other words, if you don't have like a trade lined up here for today, what have you been trading recently, or what are you looking at here today?
Yeah, you know what? We're me and the fellas up here. We've been really thinking that BTC can really go here. We're running into a lot of retail shorts here, and we have a ton of earnings in the crypto space coming out.
And STR tonight, right?
Yeah, and so we're gonna get a lot of it. My initial thought is, I like the upside, and I know I've been saying it's so hard to buy it here, but these are also stocks. So either we're going to have one of two things happen, or maybe even both. That we've had a chunk of stocks that have basically been dragging everything along with it. So we have a lot of stocks that are at the top of their range, at least for right now, and then we have a bunch of stocks that just really don't look all that great. That breadth of that market is really, really wide. Looking at some statistics last week about just how wide that breadth is, making new highs while the breadth is actually negative, is, again, very, very weird. Yeah, so we have one of two things that can happen. We either see those big names, let's just say, the Mag 7, that either they got to come down or everything else has got to come up, because this sort of disparity between the haves and the have-nots is about as wide as it gets.
Okay, so you talked a little bit about Bitcoin there. You talked a little bit about tech there. What do you think for the AI trades? Do you have any specific targets that you like more than others?
So that's one of the ones that I would love to buy those. I hate chasing. Okay. And so I'm looking for a pullback. I like it, but I just don't subscribe on a longer term trading basis of just chasing highs. It's no totally secret to anybody. I'm not finding, this jewel in the rough by buying, NVIDIA or anything like that. And you're like, so I'm looking, and there's going to be a lot of people that are looking like me for any sort of meaningful pullback. And that's where you get in. But I do like the AI trade. I just don't like going and paying top dollar for it.
Yeah, I don't blame you. We talk about here all the time. Stop chasing green candles. Just be patient. Wait for a pullback. We're going to get AMD tonight, so we'll see how that factors in. This is at highs, near all-time highs, extended from the 20, extended from the 50 and the 200. We'll see if we get a pullback here on any of that. Are there any other sectors you like for example, oil or gold, given some of the macro conditions that are out there right now?
And that's where it gets hard to separate your opinion from reality. That I still want to buy oil stocks. I don't think that this pressure is anywhere near off. We are nowhere close to any sort of actual resolution here. We might get a little bit of a little bit of diplomacy here and there. Yes, we'll talk. When? Oh, we're not going to say what we're going to talk about. I definitely think, I wouldn't want to leave myself with a whole lot of undue risk to the downside. But if I had to go one way or another, I think we got another shock or two in us.
Okay, so is it individual companies? Do you prefer ETFs like USO or something like that? Because I can totally understand, and it actually, unlike the data center trade, some of these stocks have pulled back, and maybe that actually makes for some decent entry here. Is it individual names, ETF side? What do you find most success with?
I mean, I do like USO, just that's the ETF on oil. The issue with that is that it is a constantly moving allocation and we have a weird time structure in the crude oil market. And so sometimes, depending on the shape of that crude oil curve, sometimes you will get USO that doesn't exactly act like, for example, CL futures. So if I really wanted to trade, I would be trading CL futures, but I still like your solid names. I like ExxonMobil. Sure. I like Valero. Any of the big ones, I don't think that they're getting too far away from each other. So pick your favorite.
Okay. All right. Yeah. And they are. And a lot of those are also at highs there. Let me just really quickly ask about gold. I know we talked a little bit about Bitcoin, which is digital gold, or thought of as that. Yeah. Do you like gold at all? Is that part of your trading thesis at all?
We do play gold. Again, it's been such a weird trade where the usual correlations are really, sometimes they're there and sometimes they're not, which means that they're not there. And so it looks to be, and the way that I treat it, as a purely technical play. I'm looking at major, support and resistance lines, and not trying to think about the geopolitical ramifications or the currency ramifications of that, because some people know, many don't, that gold really is, it's probably more of a currency play than anything else. Yes, it has inherent, or at least perceived value. It can be used in manufacturing, but it really is a currency play more than anything else, at least in this market.
Yeah, absolutely. So, and I know a lot of our folks here have a kind of a bullish long-term view on gold. Sure. I tend to agree with you, though. Hard to predict the macro, much easier to read a chart and kind of base your decisions off that. So
when they hold up and you're looking at the chart, it's almost like, well, I don't even actually have to know why, but I do know what. And so that's the way that I've been playing it. You just gotta wait for your levels in gold, and I would much rather play around in gold than silver, which I still don't understand that trade from about 2 months ago.
Okay, fair enough. We look at them both here. Gold definitely has more of a desire, I guess. Folks, get an inside look at Mike Shorr's live trading room at our exclusive short-term options open house beginning May 11th. Real-time trade ideas, live setups, and lessons straight from Mike himself. Mike, I got 2 really quick questions here, since you are an educator. Number one, you talked a little bit about short-term trading, day trading, and all of that, and working with some of the students. This is something that we have been discussing here since the news broke. I had a comment here from one of our viewers, Ed, that says that will be fantastic when the pattern day trading rule ends. So let me ask you here real quick. You must see this a lot, especially with option traders and newer traders in there. What kind of impact do you think the PDT rule being removed is going to have on traders and also on the broader market? Do you have any thoughts on that?
Yeah, I mean, I do think that there will be a new class of traders that do come in, but kind of anybody who knew what they were doing, there are, even now, since we haven't had the rule change, there are perfectly legal and nothing in the gray about trading, trading in a cash account.
Yep.
The PDT rule applies to margin accounts.
Yep.
So you can do that. It's a bit of a pain in the butt. You have to worry about which account you're trading out of or anything like that. But you can, and I hate to use the word get around, you can successfully navigate the PDT rules, and you are beholden to your cash value, which is good. You're not using margin. The most that you can lose is the most money that you put in your account. Of course, that's not the design, but at least we are risk defined. So I do think that there may be some people that are like, oh, now I can day trade, and they just didn't know that they could do it before. So I think there'll be more. I really don't think that you can look at different like an individual stock, or like we're talking about, like AMC and GME, and I guess recently Car or something like that, where you can get some crazy retail stuff happening. Usually the retail crowd is not enough to overwhelm the institutional crowd.
Yeah.
And so I welcome the change. I think it's good for the markets, and I don't see any negatives to it, except that it allows more people, a little bit of access to the markets that we trade.
Yeah, I think that's a great answer. I am completely with you. I agree. I don't see any downside. I mean, way back in the day when I first started, that PDT rule was annoying for me. Once you get over it, you kind of forget about it. And you make a really good point about the cash accounts there. First of all, I don't even really use margin. I have a margin account, so I can do multi-leg option trades and all of that, but I trade the money I own. That way I don't put myself in trouble.
Exactly.
That seems like a really smart thing to do there.
It seems like it's a better idea to force new traders into a cash account than a margin account.
Yeah.
Because they can get themselves in trouble on the margin. They don't even realize that they are being margin contingent, and suddenly, their $5,000 account they owe $15,000 on.
Yeah.
Whereas a cash account, that would never happen. So actually, and pardon me for thinking that the government may have gotten this one wrong, that I think that it makes a lot more sense for a new person. Hey, this is as far as you can go. Like when mom and dad are teaching you to swim, you can go out to this buoy. If you go out beyond that, then you're on your own.
That's a great analogy, and you're going to fit in well here if you think the government has screwed up a number of times. That's not going to be a problem at all. Okay, last question here for you. What is the biggest lesson that you have learned in your career? You talked earlier about not chasing. That's a great one. But can you give me the biggest lesson that you've learned across all your experience?
Oh, well, all right. Here, I can tell you this. I've been, since being a clerk on the floor, a trader on the floor, a manager on the floor, and then running the group, and then being with Prosper for almost the last 14 years, I've learned one thing that is the biggest indicator whether a trader will be successful or not in his or her career. It's not how smart you are or how many degrees that you have. It's not how big you are with money or physically when we are on trade. It's not how necessarily fast you are. It's about your ability to recognize, realize, and act on a loser. Where you see traders go south and blow out their accounts is when they get into a bad trade and they just know it's coming back. Well, if they knew it was coming back, then why did you get into the trade when you did? You would have waited till you knew where it was going to. The fact is that there are winning trades, there are losing trades, and you have to become. I still hate losing trades, and I don't want to say that I become comfortable with it, but I've accepted that risk, and that risk will sometimes happen. You don't want that to happen more often than it doesn't, but that's the one thing. So realizing, acting, and executing, and covering your risk, and moving on, and not letting that take you out of the game psychologically, and then of course financially.
Amen to that. That is great. I'm so glad that you said that, Mike, because when I first got started in this, one of my buddies who had been doing this for a decade, I said, what do I need to know? He said, if there's only one thing that you hear from me, you need to learn how to lose before you learn how to win. And at the time, I had no idea what that meant. And I got a very, very quick lesson. And it's exactly right. Learning how to manage your losing trades is what's going to keep you around in this business. Absolutely.
100%.
All right. Mike Shorr, everybody. Mike, thanks so much. I love having some Chicago people on here. Let me ask, just on the way out here, Cubs or Sox?
Cubs fans.
Hey, me too. All right. Mike,
good.
You're going to fit in well here. I feel real good about this.
Well, I really appreciate you having me on. I look forward to being on here a lot.
All right, no problem. Mike Shorr, go ahead, scan that QR code, get access to that room. Mike, we thank you very much. We'll catch you next time.
Thank you, everybody.
All right, Mike Shorr from T3. Told you guys, the T3 guys, incredible, all different types of trading. And yeah, sorry, I'm going to show some preference to the Chicago guys around there. I think that was real good advice from him, top to bottom. Go for a walk, get prepared, and play the hand that you're dealt. Really good stuff there from Mike. Okay, let's get back to Pro here real quick. I actually think I've got 2 more news stories here, and then we're going to try a quick peek at the prediction markets before 13 gets here. So let's go to this story. I picked this one just for Lion Atlas, so I'm glad he's here. I am glad he's here. Peter Schiff says it's time to buy the dip in gold and silver amid the Iran war sell-off. Stop me if you've heard this before. The universe is in order. Peter Schiff is talking about buying gold. Everything is going to be okay. Everything is going to be okay. The markets are mispricing the impact of escalating geopolitical tensions and rising macro risks, according to Peter Schiff, who suggests buying the dip in the precious metals. Lion says he's all in. In a Monday post on X, Schiff said, quote, gold is down over $100 and silver is down over $250, end quote. As the conflict with Iran intensifies, oil prices surge, bond yields climb, and equities weaken. He framed the sell-off as a disconnect, telling investors to take advantage of their ignorance and buy the dip, end quote. Gold and silver, traditionally seen as safe haven assets, have come under pressure in recent sessions as rising government bond yields reduce the appeal of non-yielding assets. The yield on the 30-year U.S. Treasury bond has climbed above the key 5% threshold, levels not seen in nearly 2 decades. Rising Middle East tensions have lifted oil prices, stoking supply and inflation concerns. In turn, expectations of prolonged higher interest rates have pushed bond yields up, creating short-term pressure on gold and silver. A stronger U.S. dollar has added further headwinds, making metals more expensive for global buyers. The ICE dollar index rose to 98.48 from 97.61 since the war began in late February. Spot gold price has dropped to around 4,554 from 5,170 since the war erupted, while spot silver is down to nearly 73.75 from the highs of 93.82. Schiff argues that traders are overlooking the longer-term implications of the current environment, citing that, quote, traders don't realize how bullish these events are for precious metals, end quote. Lion sure did. He's been telling us that for a long time. The decline in gold and silver came despite a broader risk-off trading, where geopolitical uncertainty would typically support bullion prices. The Economist maintains that the current pullback is not a sign of weakness, but rather an opportunity for investors who anticipate a shift in monetary conditions. So let me know, Lion, I know you're already all in. Let me know who else is looking at buying gold stocks here or just gold in general. All right, folks, let's try something here real quick. I know we've talked about some of these prediction markets before, and I know we've talked about some of these, some of the different bets that you can make. And I want to cover some of them. I want to cover ones that we think are going to be interesting here. In particular, I would love to be able to keep these to stocks as well, so we can kind of take away from all of this and also apply them to stocks. What I pulled up here is on Kalshi. I've got Tesla's deliveries in Q2. Now, this contract ends in 78 days. I believe that's sometime in July 22nd, I think is that date. Nonetheless, we got a couple of things here, right? You're able to bet the forecast. Now, just kind of looking at this, Tesla, the last quarter, it wasn't great, right? So one thing that we can look at here is a potential bounce back bet. So if you think Tesla didn't have a good good quarter last quarter, didn't have good delivery numbers last quarter, easy for me to say, and that it might bounce back, now might be your attempt. And it was down 14%, had a really ugly quarter. Kalshi is pricing in a 50% chance that they bounce back above the 420,000. This seems to be one of the key thresholds there. And so 440 historically is going to be the other one. If it's above 440, the stock rallies. If it misses it, it likes to retest the lows. Kalshi here is giving you a coin flip on 420. So it actually looks like they are thinking it might be a little bit lower here. What side are you on? Does Tesla make their deliveries number? Do they bounce back and make it this quarter or in the next print? Or do they miss it again? Do they miss it again? Zach says, great prediction, 50-50. Yeah. So the 50-50 is really only for the 42,000. I think that the actual contract itself here is for 430,000. I think I just said 42,000. I'm sorry. 430,000. The key takeaway, though, is that 440,000 is going to be where that stock rallies. So the contract here is yes for 48 cents, no for 58 cents. I'm curious. Now, Zach, I understand this is not going to be a big moneymaker because we don't have any outsized odds here. But the other idea with this is that you could potentially use this as a hedge. Walk with me on this, Zach. Let's say you're long Tesla. All right, you've got a Tesla position. You might have had it for a long time. You might be up nicely on that Tesla position, but you're worried a little bit about what the delivery numbers might entail and what that does for your stock price. What you could do with this, you might be able to hedge that, right? Use Kalshi, hedge your stock position. Then you can actually take a contract for no, they're going to miss deliveries. If they miss it, okay. You're going to at least be able to collect some cash there. You still haven't given up your long stock position. Even if that's hurting a little bit, you've kind of made up for some of that with the event contract here. And then if it beats, then your big stock position continues to gain and your hedge kind of falls off. It works the way it should. So I understand, not a great one with it kind of being a coin flip, but that kind of allows for hedging. The other thing, Zach, we're all traders here. There might be a way, and I've never done this yet, but the more and more people I talk to, it seems the more and more people are doing stuff like this, and it's fascinating. You can also kind of work the order book, right? So you can kind of determine, this might get mispriced here. In looking at this, there was a massive bid wall at 50 cents right on that mark. There was 3,100 contracts stacked on yes above 440K. So maybe you can kind of work the order book. Kalshi pays 3.25% interest on collateral while you wait. So you might be able to just kind of work that position, wait for some spots, and then get your position a little bit better. I'm curious, does anyone use these prediction markets in conjunction with stocks? Do you hedge any of your positions using prediction markets? Have you thought about doing this? Or is it more just kind of fun and games? Do you just think, I suspect Tesla is going to miss again. Elon's talking about space and he's got his head in the clouds. Maybe they're just going to miss again on the cars, and maybe it's just kind of funny money. I just find it interesting. The bigger this grows, the more people that get involved, the more use cases there may be for it. And I when I heard about the other traders hedging using prediction markets, I was like, okay, we got to talk about that. So I'd be curious to see how you folks think about that and if you use these prediction markets going forward. Okay. Let's go back to pro. Let's see. How did I do? We're 5 minutes ahead of the hour. I did it, folks. I got us in here a little bit early. That's great because I get one more story that I want to really quickly tell you, and then we will talk to 13. This one has to do with the iPhone, and I might do a little bit of a victory lap here. Just going to warn you ahead of time. iPhone 17 rules becomes the world's best-selling smartphone for the longest time. My friends, people in my circle, they have been busting on me. They have told me, get an iPhone. What are you doing with your dirty, stupid Android phone? This, that, and the other thing. And I've just very calmly smiled at them. And I said, the right trade is to own Apple stock and buy Samsung smartphones. And that has worked for me for a long time. And thankfully, all of those Apple fanboys and fangirls, they kept buying phones and they kept boosting the price of the stock that I own. So that has worked out really well. But let's just share this here real quick. Counterpoint Research highlighted shifting smartphone industry dynamics in the first quarter of 2026, with premium devices gaining share, top models concentrating demand, and original equipment manufacturer or OEMs adjusting strategies amid cost pressures. Apple, ticker AAPL, the iPhone 17 emerged as the world's best-selling smartphone in the first quarter of 2026, capturing a 6% share of global unit sales. That was from the Counterpoint report. The iPhone 17 Pro Max and iPhone 17 Pro followed, securing the next two positions and reinforcing Apple's dominance at the high end. Senior analyst Harshit Rastogi, I'm Harshit, I believe is how his name is pronounced. I'm sorry about that. Said that the iPhone 17 outperformed its predecessor thanks to upgrades to storage, the camera, the display, and bringing it closer to Pro variants and improving the overall value. He also noted strong double-digit growth in key markets such as China and the US, as well as threefold growth in South Korea. Samsung Electronics, again, ticker SSNLF, Samsung Electronics Galaxy A series placed 5 models in the top 10, making it the most represented lineup. The Galaxy A7 4G ranked as the best-selling Android smartphone, driven by demand in emerging markets such as the Middle East, Africa, and Latin America, and supported by long-term software updates. Samsung's flagship Galaxy S26 Ultra narrowly missed the top 10, but recorded stronger early sales than its predecessor, aided by new AI features and a privacy display. I actually want to check out that privacy display. Xiaomi, this is another OTC stock that you may have never pulled up before. The ticker is XIACY. That's X-Ray India Alpha Charlie Yankee. Xiaomi. The Redmi AI 5 secured the 10th spot as the most affordable model, maintaining steady demand across emerging regions. The top 10 smartphones accounted for 25% of global unit sales in the first quarter. That is the highest concentration recorded for a March quarter. Counterpoint attributed this strong iPhone demand and pressure on mass market Android segments due to rising component costs from memory shortages. We actually heard that from Tim Cook himself in the earnings call, or the conference call, excuse me. Senior analyst Karn Chauhan said that the share of the top models is expected to increase further in 2026 as overall market growth slows, prompting OEMs to focus more on premium devices and prioritize value over volume. I, for one, am extremely happy when they prioritize value over volume, because that means I'm getting a better phone. Kenneth says, I still have the S23 Ultra. Kenneth, I bet you love it. Is that correct? Am I right on that? I have the S25 Ultra. I love it. I love it. I love it. And I got a really good deal on it. An OEM deal, too. Didn't even use the one from the carrier. So, okay. Good stuff. But again, I've been really, really pleased. I enjoy the features that my phone gives me. I was actually recently with an iPhone user, and I took a picture, and the response was, oh my gosh, that picture is so good. That's rather amusing to me, because I think that camera's better. But I digress. Own Apple stock. It's been great. And use Samsung phones. That's been my trade-off. Okay, it's time to get 13 on here, and we're going to break down all of the pre-market movers. It is 9 o'clock exactly. We did it, folks. Pre-market pulse starts right now. $13, good morning. How are you doing?
I'm doing just fine. Enjoying my morning. It's pretty good. Got off to an early start, so I'm ahead of the game. How are you?
Okay.
How's everybody out there?
Well, they're doing really good here. Zach, again, is giving you the moniker 13 the Great. So you're going to have to live up to Alexander the Great, but that it is what it is. So people are doing good. Kathy, love this. KOPN Copen from yesterday's interview, up 11% in the pre-market. How about that? Thank you, Kath. We will take that. All right, 13. Call the ball here. You want to just run through some of the movers? Is there anything in particular that's standing out? Get us prepped for the open.
Yeah, we can get through some of the movers. It's not looking like the greatest list, but we do have some other earnings that we could go over. I did want to talk a little bit about SpaceX and their upcoming launch, and how it interestingly lines up with when they're going to do their S1 filing and all that. So we can talk a little bit about that. Also want to share some Disney news as well. It looks like Mandalorian Grogu, the new movie that's coming out, is going to be a massive flop. So
Boy,
just getting all ready for that. But we can get into all that. Let's look at some movers.
All right. That's awesome. 13 coming in hot. I absolutely love it. Let's break down the movers list so you can be prepared to trade the morning gappers and movers here. The first one that I have is going to be CLRB. This is Selector Biosciences. This thing popped all the way to 7. It is retraced 80% of that move. We actually coughed up the VWAP in that. By the way, we also tried to bounce, recapture the VWAP. We failed. And then we rolled over lower. In the process, we lost the 9, we lost the 15. And while we did not quite test the 65, we were able to hold above that. So this thing's already had an impulse move higher, big time retracement. Let's take a look at the catalyst and try to figure out exactly what's going on here. Selector Biosciences Phase 2B Clover WAM 12-month data. That's a mouthful. Shows 83.6% ORR and durable response exceeding 18 months in post-BTKI patients. Boy, I'm going to need my AI tool to tell me what the hell half of that stuff means. Hopefully you already ran it through that. A quick peek at the short interest here. 0.64%. This is negligible. No short squeeze potential here today. 1.25 days to cover. That won't matter. On average, stock trades 35,000 shares a day. Today, it's traded 33 million prior to the open. Float here, 4.23 million. So 13, what do you think here on CLRB?
I think the bigger piece of news with this one is the announcement of an oversubscribed financing of up to $140 million. That came first, and then we got this information about the 12-month follow-up data from the Phase 2B Clover release. So I think that it was running on both of those. But what I think could turn this around and maybe lift it up, as we approach the open, is going to be that oversubscribed 140 million financing. So I think I would just want to wait and see what we get here as we approach the open. It looks like it's trying to find a bottom here. If we do get a lift back up, we have some resistance at just above $5. And then the VWAP at 550 is going to be the secondary area of resistance. So we could come back up to the 515 to 550 area and find some resistance around there. But if we move through it, then I think we're back on. So I'm not going to necessarily count this one down and out yet. I want to see what happens as we approach the open, because that financing is pretty big news, I think.
Okay. All right. Well said there. That is CLRB. Next on the list here, I'm actually just going to jump here because the chat is mentioning this stock a few times. So I'm just going to skip ahead here. This is going to be ticker DGXX, and this is DigiPowerX. Did you cover this one?
I did.
Okay, fantastic. So we had an impulse move on volume that took us just above 7. We actually peaked above that 7 level. We actually ran up to it, pulled back to the VWAP, then peaked above it. But it appears that the second impulse move kind of exhausted us, because right away we retraced that move. We ended up breaking the VWAP, and we are continuing to move to the downside here. It has stayed above the 65 EMA, although it hasn't tested it exactly yet. We'll see if it's still got that here in the cards. DigiPowerX executes master services agreement with Cerebras for co-location of 40 megawatts of AI data center campus in Columbiana, Alabama, I believe, right? Initial 10-year term is valued at $1.1 billion, with total potential contract value of up to $2.5 billion, inclusive of renewal terms. Okay, that is definitely notable. The market cap in this company is $275 million. So we're talking about some big numbers with the potential contract there. Short interest on this name, 5.96%. So definitely more than the last mover we looked at, but still not terribly high. Days to cover there, 1.98. And that's because stock on average trades 2 million shares. Today it's traded 48 million, floats 56.5. 13, what do you think here? DGXX.
Well, their cash position wasn't really that bad. It looks like they have about 4 to 5 quarters of a cash runway. So I don't think that there's a real immediate need for them to need to raise capital, unless they're trying to do it for this project's results. I don't know what their timeline is for getting this co-location data center up. But if it's going to be capital intensive, I would expect that they want to raise later on. I don't know if they'll just do it right now. It's not likely, in my view. But they do have some revenue. It's just that their market cap is not really making me think that it's correctly valued. It might be a little high, but again, I don't know how great this data center is going to be, or what how much it's going to cost to build them over time, or if they're going to need to raise more capital or not. But as far as how to trade this, we did come down, sank pretty low here in the pre-market, almost hitting the 65 EMA. It looks like we're trying to turn around here, but I get the sense that as we approach 6, we're going to run into resistance again. So we have 625 where the VWAP is. And if we do manage to recapture VWAP, we have a bit of a target that this the first 2 highs in the pre-market gave us. That gives a little bit of a trend line that we can shoot for if we manage to get all the way back up here.
Boom.
So that would be something to shoot for if we can recapture VWAP, but we're not there yet. So we'll just have to wait and see as we approach the open if we're going to get any of that, because if we can't recapture VWAP, then this thing might not be worth keeping on our screens for a trade.
Okay, really good stuff there. Jay Rice saying, Buenos dias, Ryan Lito, and Teresa que pasa. What? Una cerveza, por favor. Jay, aquí, disfruta tu cerveza. So happy Cinco de Mayo to you as well. I would be happy to enjoy a beer with you. Happy Cinco de Mayo to everybody else out there. Oh, and by the way, I don't even speak Spanish. That's how awesome the holiday is. It's nacho average holiday. Okay, 13. What else do you have on your list here? Did BLZE make the cut? Black Blaze? Black Blaze, excuse me?
That no, but that one looks like it's going right now. The only 2 that I looked at were FSEA. That's a buyout, 17.25 a share, so nothing there. And then MASK, 1.3 million in convertible notes.
Okay, let's do Mask first, since you've already done it, and then we'll go to BLZE.
Okay.
Okay, so Mask here. This is 3E Network. This popped in the after hours yesterday, kind of curled back, popped at the pre-market open today. But similar deal here. We gave up the VWAP, tried to recapture it, was rejected at it. And look at that, we rolled lower. In this case, we actually did break the 65 EMA to the downside, and it looks like we kind of found some support around that 200 EMA, which also happens to be right around that round number 2, so perhaps that's playing into it. Looking at the news here, after hours yesterday, they signed a $1.3 million convertible note agreement with an institutional investor. Here's a little bit more information about that. It was a securities purchase agreement with an institutional investor. Pursuant to the purchase agreement, the company agreed to sell and issue a senior secured 8% original issue discount convertible promissory note. My goodness, in the principal amount of up to 1.3 million for aggregate gross proceeds of 1.196 million. So it says 1.3 on the headline, 1.196 is what they're actually getting there. A quick peek at the short interest on this one. 5.57% with 1 day to cover. So there's some there, but it's not a whole lot, and it's likely not going to impact this. Average daily volume, 2.6 million. We've done 20 million here today, and the float, low float, under $1 million on this. So 13, what do you think here on Mask?
Well,
Smoking.
This company has some revenue, and its profitability is just slightly higher than break even. The float is 821,000 shares, so I would expect this to move around pretty easily, but seeing as how it's getting hammered down in the pre-market here, the thing that I'd be watching for is if it can hold this 200 EMA on the 5-minute. If we lose that, I think the price could come and fall down around somewhere between 160 and 175. So I think that's the big level to watch for right now. If it manages to turn around as we approach the open and come back up, we have the 65 EMA that's already provided resistance once today. We break through that, we have the view up to deal with, and then we can look at this trend line that we have here from the 2 peaks in the after hours and in the pre-market. That gives us a bit of a target to shoot for if we manage to recapture 235.
Okay, well said there. Well said. Do you have anything else?
Nope.
Okay, then I do. Yeah, is back here.
I wrote that down.
You wrote that down. Did you write down the sound effect? Is what I want to know.
No, because I make my own.
There you go. Perfect. This is actually spiking up here 160. Let me see if there was catalyst on this or if this is just some trading fun stuff. Yeah, no catalyst here. This is just movement, recent movement that we've seen there. BIYA. Okay. I think that does it.
Yeah, you want to look at Blaze, and then I had a couple of things to talk about with SpaceX and Disney.
Perfect. Let's do Blaze here. Then I'll turn it over to you for the SpaceX pop-off, as we'll call it. Ticker here is BLZE. This is back Blaze. You can see we actually ran up in the after hours yesterday, and we've taken that out here today. So we stayed sideways this morning. then ended up punching above it. We've continued to move here, likely because of some of these re-ratings. So last night, what happened? Backblaze reported earnings here, adjusted EPS of 4 cents, beat the 9-cent loss estimate. That's good to see. Sales of 38.66 million, beat the estimate of 37.7 million. And they see Q2 sales of 39.8 to 40.2. That was versus an estimate of 30.158. So top and bottom line beat. Guidance raise. And then this morning, Citizens Bank reiterates market outperform, maintains the $8 price target. We're almost there. Needham maintains a buy, raises their price target to $8.50. Again, we are almost there. Also, I am going to shout this out. The conference call for any of these stocks, especially ones that you might not have heard of, these are available in Pro. You can actually copy all of the text, have the AI draw summaries, and all of that really cool stuff. Saves an absolute ton of time. If you're not using Benzinga Pro, I don't know why. You really should be doing it. All that stuff's available there for you. Short interest on this name, 2.41%, 2.71 days to cover. So there's a little bit there. Probably not a huge deal. We'll see. On average, stock trades just about 1 million shares, a little bit shy of that. Done 4.12 here today versus a float of 57.6 million. Blaze here is popping 13. What do you think?
Well, first of all, good morning, Retro from Jackson Hole. Good to see you here.
Oh, nice. I want those pictures, Retro.
And when it comes to Blaze, if you look at the daily chart, you can see that we had a high in March of 2024 and a high in November of 2025. That gives us a trend line. But also, if you draw a horizontal line at $8, that price target, you can see that that's a very big resistance level. It acted as support a couple of times, but not very much, because it seems like every time that this has gone above 8, and when it came back beneath it, it dropped like right through 8. Like, I mean, just dropped. So 8's a very big level of support and resistance, I would say.
Indeed.
Look at May in 2024 and then November of 25 after that high. Just absolute knives right through, broadswords even right through these this $8 level. So I think when you have that resistance, that's pretty clear from all the price action going all the way back to August and February of 22 and 23 respectively. Those that $8 level is probably going to get tested here today. Whether or not we move through it or not, I can't say. It's already going to be extended when we open. But it's very clear from this daily chart that 8 is a massive, massive level for this stock.
Yeah, you're absolutely right about
that. Look back even further. Look back even further with that. Look at this. Yeah, 8's a level.
Yeah, 8's a level for sure. You make a really good point on the trend line here as well. So, okay, BLZE, we'll see if we get more of a movement here. 8, to me, this is the next target. 8's the next target.
Yeah, and then if we get through 8, that trend line. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. All right. 13. I'm going to go. So you want to talk a little bit about SpaceX, stuff like that? That's perfect. Yeah. Give me time to go to the washroom here. What chart can I pull up to help support what you're discussing?
Well, we just had earnings from Firefly. I think some folks have been talking about that. You can just leave that up there, even though I'm not going to really be talking about the company. It's in the similar space. Get it? But they're not going to be a real direct competitor to SpaceX. They're more of a direct competitor to Rocket Lab.
Gotcha.
Anyway, we're going to have it's going to be great because there's a lot of different space companies that we're going to be seeing, do flights this year. The space race is totally on. But anyway,
yeah. I will say, I know yesterday was Star Wars Day. I am here for it. I am here for the space race all day. I'll be right back.
So it was recently announced that SpaceX has a launch window from May 12th to May 18th. So any one of those days, and in between that time, they could do their Flight 12 Starship test flight. Now, what's interesting is that they did say that they're going to plan on IPOing in June, and there's going to be a roadshow period that they're going to have to go on, and usually that occurs 2 weeks after they've submitted their S1. And the estimate for when they could submit that is going to be somewhere between May 18th and 21st. Kind of interesting, right? So you have the Flight 12 launch, then you have the S1, and then we go into the roadshow period, and then we're going to have the IPO sometime in June. So this is going to be pretty interesting, and I think that it lines up pretty well with these launches because I think they're trying to generate some excitement, and they also want to have. I think another launch on their books before they submit their S1. But also the interesting thing is that they've been testing the next Starship, which is going to be Booster 20 and Starship, I believe, 40. and that's been testing pretty closely with 19 and 39, which is going to be for flight 12. So we could end up seeing a situation, if everything works out perfectly, where we have this next test flight for flight 12, we get the S1, and then we have another flight in June before we IPO. There's been a lot of talk about this flight 12 and flight 13 being very close together because of the progress of both Starships in their testing. So I think that we could end up seeing some one thing right after the other this month and next month for SpaceX. Could be a very exciting time. So I'm looking forward to it. Just wanted to give you all that heads up. Now, when it comes to Disney, a couple of things that I learned this morning was Mandalorian and Grogu, which is an upcoming movie that they're going to be releasing. I believe it's this month that it comes out. It's not doing well with test audiences. As a matter of fact, audiences in the age range of 13 to 17 did not like it at all.
I would have thought that's the range that would have liked it the most.
Right. Here's some of the comments they've said. All the good stuff was made before I was born. Grogu creeps me out. Some of the stuff like Andor is okay, but all the other stuff before, but none of the new stuff is that great. Test audiences don't like the new Star Wars stuff. Here's the real kicker. Disney is now considering retconning the entire trilogy after the original. So episodes 7, 8, and 9 that have Rey Palpatine and all that other garbage in it. They're all retconning that. They want to go back and focus on the original characters. So they're not doing good over there at Lucasfilm.
That's trouble.
That's big trouble. Lucasfilm has absolutely destroyed their brand. I could point to exactly the culprits that are doing that. But anyway, that's the news there for Disney and for SpaceX.
Now, let me ask you, first of all, a great breakdown there. Thank you very much. Let me ask you really quickly as it pertains to Disney here. We've outlined this range that the stock has done a very good job obeying really since 2022. It is worth noting that the stock has in the past also kind of oscillated in this range, but it's really the recent performance that I'm focusing on here. To me, right now, where the price is, we're just simply in no man's land. It could really kind of go either way. Now, judging by the report that you just gave, my bias would be perhaps a rollover to the bottom end of the channel here, down at about 80. Is there really any way to trade this, or is this one of those things where we're kind of in a wait and see mode for a number of reasons?
I mean, if you want to trade this channel, you just kind of aim for the lower end, which is around 80, and you could do puts, or you could just set a limit order and just wait for it to get down there and go long and wait for it to come back up to the 120, 125 area where the top end of the channel is. That's been the trade for the past almost 4 years now. And
that's what I'm saying. So to me, it seems like the next trade here in Disney is probably to wait this out. If we get 80 or near the lower end of the channel, maybe throw a few shekels on it, see if you can get a swing trade to the top end there. But otherwise, I don't see any particular reason to go out there and grab this right now.
Yeah, and
this is a wait and see for me with where we're at.
And there's another disturbing trend that was also recently brought to my attention about how, and you probably heard the term Disney adults, but apparently the park goers are mostly adults now. They vastly outnumber children. That's probably weird. It's super weird. But I think it really came about with the introduction of alcohol into different parks. It seems like that's really lowered the bar, for the type of customer that they get. Lots of people are going into debt, just going to Disneyland for themselves, not for their kids, themselves. It's really weird. And I think that's another underlying problem with their parks. It's probably not an issue right now, but I foresee it being a growing problem, especially when the whole idea was to, the park was built for kids, and now it's mostly enjoyed by adults because they just go there and day drink and visit all their characters they never got to see, or they had some, repressed childhood trauma that they are finally getting to unleash by going there. I don't know.
Yeah, that's why. Speaking of repressed childhood trauma, I mean, I went here with my family as a kid, and I think back to that period, and my dad just could not wait to leave. I mean, it was like I just don't understand it. I haven't seen that myself. It's wild though. Part of me makes me wonder if and I've actually seen my buddy went last year, and he sent me a picture of the menu, and the prices are just insane. So yeah. I'm wondering then, with the more adult group there, if they're going to do better with park sales, but I don't know if that's going to actually impact this for a trade idea.
That's probably why they're doing good at park sales, because they just invite all these adults. I mean, do you understand like what they're selling for snacks? Like they have literally one strip of bacon on a stick. I think they're selling for like 10 or 15 bucks.
That is just
it's wild. Okay. But people buy this and they eat this. It's amazing to me. Anyway, let's get back to stocks.
Yeah, no, it's wild stuff there. Indeed. And here, thinking about it, says Disney needs the Men in Black flashy thingy to erase audiences' memories. I ain't playing with you thinking about it. You ever flashy thing me? Have you ever flashy thing me? We don't need you coming away flashing these people, flashing away half their med school classes or anything like that. Wink, wink. That was a good mention, though. All right. Are there any other stocks that you want to take a look at? Looks like Brazali here wants to take a look at NVIDIA. Should we do that?
We could look at NVIDIA. There's PayPal. Jay Rice mentioned the Budge.
Let's see. We got 7 minutes. Let's shoot for that. Let's shoot for NVIDIA and PayPal.
Blaze,
looking at you.
By the way, Blaze, BLZE, this is trying to push through the pre-market high right now.
Okay.
Just to let you all know if you're trading that one.
Okay. Now, really quickly here with NVIDIA, I'm going to make this real easy. We had a nice push to some new all-time highs. We pulled back to the 20-day, and it looks like we're holding the 20-day. So I don't know, Brazali, I don't know if you were asking if this actually makes for a good entry or whatever here. This, to me, moved to new all-time highs. The AI trade is in focus here. It looks like the market really kind of did some profit taking here, but we've held the 20. So I actually think that this is not a terrible level to try this at. The way I would look at this, though, even being in the AI theme here, unless you have like a super long-term view here on NVIDIA, I would kind of make this a short-term trade if it either holds this 199 or it doesn't. Any thoughts for you on the NVIDIA chart, 13?
That doesn't look too good to me. The daily chart, I hope I'm not looking at a double top here and thinking, oh, yeah, this is going to go higher. I think I would be more inclined to say, let's see what happens around 180. And that's going to be just under the 50 and 200-day SMAs. So I think that we could still see some more downside. I'm a little concerned about this price action we've had, since we hit that top in October. We kind of chopped around sideways, and then we just hit that. We went slightly higher, but not too much higher, and we immediately sold. So I'm a little concerned about this. Was this 213? This 213 area providing resistance, rejectable resistance twice now, and it's really sent the stock down after hitting this area. So I want to see some actual bottoming, some stability of a base here before I say, yeah, let's jump into this, because I think this is a little concerning to me, and we could see some further downside.
Okay. Right here, Joe saying, Ryan, what about the news? What about the news about NVIDIA's market share in China going to zero? Is that priced in already? Okay. Well, first of all, I don't think it's going to actually go to zero. Even if there's bluster and even if there's talk, I don't think it's going to go to zero, number one. And number two, do I think that's priced in? No, because I keep seeing, and I report them a lot here, I keep seeing back and forth headlines about these chips are being sent over there and these are being considered and Jensen's meeting with this person. And so I don't think it's priced in. I definitely think there's a back and forth here. What say you, 13?
I don't think that. So they still smuggle a ton of these chips into China because they know that these are the best chips. So if this news about them losing market share, well, I think that's just, that's just news. It's just like a headline. I don't think that that's necessarily happening yet because they're still smuggling these things in and putting them in data centers and using them. They need these chips. So, and they're not making anything that can replace NVIDIA chips. I don't care what the next greatest chip that Huawei comes out with. Their yields are terrible. They're terrible. They get like so many, successful, wafers chips on a single wafer, and their process is just awful. They're not They're not going to take over market share. It's not going to go to zero anytime soon.
Yeah.
So I don't necessarily believe that that's going to be the case. They're still going to smuggle these in unless there's a chip that comes out from China that's better than what NVIDIA is making and can produce better yields than what TSMC is making. They're not going to replace them.
Okay. What do you think about that, Joe? There's your breakdown on that. Okay, NVIDIA. What else? I forgot it. We just talked about it.
As far as market share, like it's probably just direct selling to China. That's probably is what he's talking about. But they're still smuggling these chips in.
Yeah, and then really quickly, I don't want to spend too much time on this, but I just want to get it out there because both sides, that's what we do here. Forsman says, 13, I'd love to defend Disney adults, but I'm in my car right now. Most Disney adults actually go to Epcot more than the other parks, and Epcot is mostly not a park designed for kids. Now, that is some nuance that I wouldn't necessarily know. I don't have any stats on that, but that's interesting. That's interesting to know. Chris goes on to say, Chris, I think that you work in these parks, right? Yeah, prices have been crazy, but attendance continues to be good. And we're seeing that in the report, to their credit. Disney has quietly actually lower prices on some of the food. We've dropped prices 5% at the park that I work at. Okay, well, that's a start, but I think it probably needs to come in more. $15 for a slice of bacon is just not palatable.
Yeah, I mean, you have so I understand what he's saying about Epcot, and that's the same situation with what are those other two parks? California Adventure, and there's another one over there that next to the Disneyland in Anaheim. But they used to not have a drinking policy, and then they started building these newer parks and introducing drinking into those, and then it just kind of spilt over. And I think it's really just kind of ruined the experience for the younger crowd. So I get that, some of these parks are built with the idea that to cater to the adults as well, because otherwise, yeah, you're just, running your kid through a big daycare basically. But, and I'm sure adults like that, but this to exclusively, have adults that come to the park just to drink and get hammered and enjoy themselves in a park in front of children, that's where the problem is, I think.
Okay, I'm sure we can go back on that back and forth real quick here with PayPal. Look, this is a story that just every time it shows you a little bit of positivity, something goes wrong here. We have a terrible earnings report. We drop to new lows here. It actually finds the bottom and starts to trade back up. Then it trades sideways. Then it recaptures more moving averages. Then it closes the gap, gets rejected at the 100, and now we have another earnings report. Stock is down almost 10% here. We're gapping beneath the 20. We're gapping beneath the 50. To me, it sure seems like $40 is coming here. We'll see. That's $5 away. This is a stock that just cannot get it figured out.
My price target is still the one I gave months ago, $30. The lows from when we IPO'd.
Okay. All right. Good stuff. We're less than a minute till we open. Folks, have a wonderful Tuesday here. Season finale of Oak Island tonight, and the NHL lottery also tonight. All right, we are open. What do we got?
Well, Blaze is just on fire right now. It is going.
It's blazing. It's blazing.
Maybe she's flying.
Oh, here.
There you go.
Got it. And I did the right one. Let's go, dude.
All right. Looks like LITE light dropped and then is now trying to recover. CLRB, one of the ones we looked at, that popped, but it's sinking now. DGXX, that's still going lower. It's coming through it's hitting the 65 EMA right now. Mask trying to get through at 65 EMA to the upside. And looks like Blaze pulled back. So there's the out of the gate movement.
I tell you what, that DGXX went right to that 65 EMA and threw it to the downside.
Looks like everything is just kind of pulling right out of the gate here.
Yeah, Mask here, except for the SPY. SPY went higher here. Mask, this was another one. This is still battling with $2. I can understand wanting, hey, maybe this makes a move back to that VWAP there around 230, sitting right here at $2 on Mask. I could understand it. Think you would need to have a kind of a tight stop on this one, though.
Blaze
All right.
Blaze is trying to push through the seller at 780. There's a large, I guess it might be a limit order. There's a large seller in the way at 780. But if we get through that, then this thing could pop up through 8.
And Alzalaf asking, why is Palantir down after good earnings? There was a lot of talk about Palantir being extended. Let me float something else. How many of you think Palantir might be at peak earnings? They're telling you that demand is the problem. Okay, but they can't service all of that, and they're going to prioritize the U.S. military. Maybe they're at peak earnings.
Another thing that I noticed, and I maybe we touched on this because we
Blaze 8, sorry, 13. Blaze 8. We talked about that being a huge level here. We're at an 8 test.
Yeah, it blew through that seller at 780, and it just came up to 8. Yep, great. So the thing with Palantir, we talked about how there might be something else that we're not seeing immediately, and I think as the conference call went on, the CFO had mentioned that they expect expenses to ramp in 2026. I think that may be contributing to why the stock's down today.
Okay.
More expenses.
I think you're probably right on that. Pinterest also reported earnings this straight down. Looks like profit taking to me here on Pinterest. Joe says, Ryan, I don't think Palantir is at peak earnings. They haven't even cracked the European market yet. So you're correct on that. But here's what I would say, Joe. Are they going to? They just told you that they're going to prioritize U.S. interest. They told you that they can't meet all of the demand. There's demand from private companies here in the U.S. Do you really think that they're near being able to crack that? Point made about peak earnings. Perhaps there's something they can do to increase that and maybe tap some of those other markets. You're right on that. But do you think they can, or do you think they're close to doing that? It sounds like from the report they're not. By the way, like, Mask tried to, sorry, 13. Mask tried to curl 5 cents there, right back down to 199.
Yeah, still underneath the 65 EMA, but still above the 200.
And Pinterest continues to pound lows on the profit taking here. Forever 21 Bitcoin or Barry, whichever name you go by, BLSH. This is bullish. They actually had Tom Farley, the CEO, on CNBC here today. This actually dropped from its earnings report. Oh, no, excuse me. This is not earnings. I beg your pardon. That's actually coming in 9 days from now. Dropped earlier, but has gone green nicely here. BLSH at the highs. Actually, this doesn't look terrible.
Well, Lion, somebody might want to tell them about those Chinese EVs they want to let in.
Oh, that would complicate things too much, 13. Oost getting mentioned by thinking about it.
That's up 6.25%.
Well, oh, by the way, really quick, in honor of Cinco de Mayo, what is your favorite Mexican beer? And I'll just take those in the chat.
Dos Equis.
Dos Equis, okay.
I really like their amber. It's a good one.
Okay. Modelo, says Herming. Okay.
Modelo's pretty good. I don't like Corona.
I don't either.
It's just not for me. It doesn't taste great.
I like, there's a local brewery here in Illinois called Sketchbook that I really, really like. Might grab one of those today just to celebrate. Okay, folks, really quickly here. You guys were talking about KOPN yesterday. We actually had the CEO on. I thought he did a great job, by the way. But also, we are in a fair value gap here. So maybe this turns around, maybe 467. This is an unmitigated fair value gap. We'll see if Copen bounces. We did have a strong pre-market here earlier, but this is just what I'm seeing on the chart. Pacifico. Modella Negra. Okay, they're getting a couple votes for Modella Negra. Okay. Cam says Guinness. Cam, you must be Irish through and through there to be able to say that. Anyway, good stuff there. Okay, Intel. Remember, okay, right through 100 on Intel. We had news here today about Apple. Intel shares trading higher, reports that Apple may be using the company to build main device chips in the United States. Intel getting a nice pop there, 104.
Yeah, it's still extended, but great movement. What about Mask? I mean, we're just kind of chopping around the 200 and the 65 EMAs on the 5-minute. We haven't really chosen a direction. I thought we were about to get through the 65 EMA.
Yep.
That hasn't happened yet. So
Yep.
just need to see what's going to happen here as we approach the 200 EMA.
Yeah, I was going to say mask actually looking like it may snap this support down here. Apple at the highs, by the way. Netflix at the lows. Ondas at the lows. Bummer. Been around here. Yeah, mask. Don't feel great about that. And then CW Parker asking about the on earnings here. This actually possible buy the dip here on. I know it might sound crazy. If we get through 100, I wouldn't be surprised if this gap fills. It did have some pretty decent earnings here, but they were trading lower. I think what our thought here, we talked about this last night. Our thought here was the bar was set so high, maybe they just didn't break that. We did get a slew of raised price targets here today. Susquehanna, Mizuho, Baird, KeyBank, Rosenblatt, Needham, all of these raised their price target. We're looking at the lowest is 85, the highest is 125. On sitting right here at 100. You got any thoughts on the chart here, 13?
I think that's pretty much what it was, is that look at the run that's been going on. If this is going to continue, it's going to need to have blowout earnings, and we didn't get that.
Yeah.
The company reported earnings beats, provided guidance higher than the estimates, but it wasn't too much higher than expectations, and that's what was needed. The price could find itself, and it's extended now, so it's going to cool. So the price could find itself coming down towards somewhere in the 80s, between 80 and 90, as it makes its way back down closer to the 20-day SMA. So I think this could cool off and find some support down, probably under 90, before it continues higher.
Okay. All right, decent stuff here. Eric says buy the dip on. I got to be honest with you, Eric. I'm kind of in the same spot there. I'm kind of thinking you're right on that. To be quite honest with you. Yeah, just buy the dip on it. BS says it's overbought.
Yeah, it is. It's exactly true. That's why I'm saying we could see this cool a little bit, and that's why I'm looking at somewhere between 80 and 90 for support.
Okay. On so far here, looks like it is trying to go higher. We'll see if it breaks above 99. Again, I think 99, 100, it might even fill the gap if it gets above that. So we'll see. We shall see. What else we got going on out there? SanDisk getting mentioned.
Then we've got a test of the 200 EMA on mask. So this either needs to reverse here, or it's going to fall right through.
SanDisk continues to outperform here. This thing's just parabolic.
Looks like DGXX hit its 65 EMA. That's trying to turn around. If we do recapture the 9 and 15 EMAs, you have VWAP just above 6 that could provide resistance.
Okay, this does look like a bounce, and maybe they're off 5.
Light, I mentioned this one was whipping around out of the gate here. Went down to 966.06, then turned around and went right up to almost 1,000. Now we're knocking on the door of 1,000 again.
Hey, Light, we'll see if we cross 1,000. On semiconductor, buy the dip is working. That is through 99 now. Libertas also mentioning MU. Unsurprised to see that going as well with the move here that we're seeing in SanDisk.
CLRB, one of the movers this morning, hasn't really done anything except leak. We're coming down to some of the pre-market lows following the impulse move in the morning. Down here, the 65 EMA. If it can't get a support here and turn around, then we're probably coming down to about 325. And what's going on here? Is DGXX doing anything? Not yet. Uber's just really not moving this morning. All the price action seems to have happened in the pre-market, but some of these have moved later on in the day, so we could see that happen as well. Blaze back up at 8, trying to get through it right now, chewing through a seller at 8, trying to get there. It is. Wow, what a move through 8 that was. And here we go.
That was a great call there on Blaze as well.
This thing could, thank you. This thing, well, I was going to wait to see if this was going to halt, but it looks like we didn't extend far enough. All right. Mask falling through the 200 EMA.
Pinterest maybe trying to bounce here. On back through 99. Intel getting mentioned by Unpopular Truth.
So Blaze hit 842, backed off a bit. We're still above 8 for the moment.
SPY is actually trying to go higher. I did get a signal on my indicator for the SPY 0 DTEs. I did not take it though. But I did get a signal there. See if SPY can push through this 722.5 level. See, what am I missing here? You guys mentioning NVIDIA. Oh, actually, before I go to NVIDIA, bunch of Tesla call sweeps here. Lots of them. Some NVIDIA and Amazon sprinkled in there as well, but that was mostly Tesla. That is an upside bet. Tesla at the highs as it moves right through 400. Okay, interesting. Tesla getting bought there. Lots of options trades there.
So there's being a mention of Corning, GLW. That is currently trading back over the 20-day SMA. It's been that moving average has suppressed the price since April 28th. So after a couple of attempts, we're finally through that. Now we need to see if we can close above this moving average.
The GLW, this thing's going parabolic right out of the gate here. Good morning, guys. WDC is amazing, as is Tesla. I'll tell you what, G-Man, all of the memory names have done very, very well here. We're seeing Micron, SanDisk, Western Digital, all of these are trading up here. That move continues. That move continues.
Joe, the whole thing with the rare earths the hinges on the Trump-Xi meeting and, you know, just the geopolitical tensions between the two countries, because the really big you know, card that China's playing is the rare earths. So if things aren't going to go, you know, don't go well between the Trump-Xi talks, or if there's more tensions before they're supposed to meet later this month, we could see a rise in some of these rare earth stocks. I don't know if there's going to be a single catalyst that's going to cause them all to run, but it would probably be something that maybe happens if the Trump-Xi meeting is canceled, or if there's, you know, something happens during that meeting, or when he comes back that, you know, doesn't lead to longer term stability between the two countries. It would be something like that, but it's really going to hinge on the relations between the U.S. and China. So if something really doesn't go well, I could see the rare earths altogether rising.
Hour here, this is actually trading up. That's actually moving on pretty good volume. A couple more. Moses was asking about NN. So for that NN trade, wanted to be out of that before earnings. I said we could probably get 20. We got 1971 as the high yesterday. So did not quite get there. I know it's dipping a little bit here today. Plan is to be out of that before earnings, trim some in a 19 handle. Still think we can get 20 out of it though. Just make sure that doesn't go red on you, Moses. And if you don't have risk properly aligned for holding that through earnings, I'd make sure you just take your gains before that, or at least partial book some of it.
Joe, I think a lot of it had to do with China trying to unravel the Manus deal with Meta. And I know that's not a rare earth thing, but that's the kind of thing that creates the tensions that can, you know, cause these rare earths to rise. So it's geopolitical tensions like that, and it's you know, China trying to IP grab, doing that causes things like that to go. So I would pin the movement with USAR and UAMI on things like that. You know, whenever there's some kind of big old trade issue between the two companies that you know, results in a move like the Manus deal, I think that's what's going to be. That's what causes the rare earths to move. We also had some technical moves in USAR as well that I've been outlining for quite some time. The breakout through the downtrend, the back test, and now we're back into a consolidation channel.
Lion mentions that the car crash keeps going. So car here back down at 160. This has come a long way since the 800 handle that it was in. On semiconductor, looks like it's still flirting with 99 there. That was a really good call on the buy the dip right out of the open here. Scalp's done here, but I think you might actually end up getting some more out of that. Sober Safe, didn't this just pop not long ago? Let me zoom out here. I feel like we just yep, sure did. This was on Friday of last week. Sober popped. We're actually coming right back up to the same area here. 125 still going to be your resistance, SOBR.
And that was following their earnings.
Yep. BIA also up at the highs here. 180 looks to be stopping it. That 180 area came into play on Friday. We've already seen it work at that level. Nokia, I know this has been one the group has been on recently. Nokia, more highs here. This actually above Friday's highs. Nokia, nice little dip into the close and in the after hours, completely reversed here today. Nokia.
I have a line at 15 for Nokia. I think that's where it could run to. This is kind of it's not like an exact level that I looked for. It was just like where do we have like the most like consolidation of price action in the past? And when I look back in the .com era and the GFC era, $15 really does stick out a lot. So that's why I have that there.
Okay, added that to the chart because I think that round level might get tested here. No. SPY is continuing to push higher, 722.32 at the moment. It looks like it's trying to go for 723.
Keep an eye on Mask. This got support from the 200 EMA. It's trying to come back up to the 65. Volume's not that great, but I think the support there at the 200 EMA is notable. So keep an eye on it. We might still have something with Mask.
Okay, that thing really needs a push through 2 and then probably 206. VWAP up there at 225. Oh. And actually, Mask here is restricted on toss.
Toss it out your window. Yeah, none of these movers have really done a whole lot except for Blaze.
Jay, Nokia, I'm holding for 19 or 20 on longer term. What was your entry on that, Jay? That's a really good trade. That's almost a double for you, isn't it? If it gets to 19 or 20?
20 is a very big area too. So it's a very standout area if you look at a monthly chart. 15 and 20 both. A little bit higher above 20, you have like 23.75. That could be an area of after 20 that if the price continues, that would be the next area of resistance.
Okay. Does anyone think PayPal bounces here today? Anyone trading PayPal for a possible bounce? I know you guys talked about that being oversold. This is what your intraday chart on PayPal looks like. Cannot get above the VWAP or the 15 EMA.
DGXX, we're trying to make a move for VWAP. So this one finally getting going here.
Okay. Average cost on Nokia just under 7. Jay, that's a great entry. Good Lord. Jay's looking for more than 100% gain on that. Let's go, Jay. Here's your DGXX. That was a good mention, 13. Very timely.
Well, it's still struggling getting through these two smaller EMAs, the 9 and the 15. But if we do get through it, then the VWAP is just underneath 6. So that could at least provide a good little spike there.
Yeah, I've got the VWAP here, 597.
Now, while that's going on, Mask is also trying to get back up over 2. So that's another one to keep an eye on. And then Blaze is getting some support from VWAP, but I don't know about this one holding it for the moment. It looks like some of these other ones are trying to get going here, and Blaze already had a nice spike, but I wouldn't count it out. If it continues to hold the VWAP, then maybe there's another move up through 8 coming.
I love this. CW Parker asking if anyone's still holding bull. I'd like to know too. GB Slice says PayPal trap at 43.60.
I still think PayPal goes to 30.
On 100, we got it, huh? We got it on. Now let's see if we end up closing that gap. We did take 100. Good stuff there. Good stuff here on. Good stuff for the group. On this buy the dip there. I scalped this, so I'm out here. 102, 103 might be your next spot there.
Looks like Blaze is going to have a test of that VWAP again. DGXX still not able to push through that 10 or that 560 area just yet. Mask back under 2.
CW Parker says, I bought the dip 97.50. So what's the time horizon on the trade? Is this a swing trade, day trade? Are you just basically making sure that the position no longer goes red since you got a nice initial move there? What's the rest of the trade plan there, specifically focused on the time horizon?
Look at SMDK. This is looking like it's going to head higher. 1340 is the high of this session. And it looks like it's just flagging to go, okay, now it's going higher. It just popped a little bit higher now. 1341 now. But yeah, so this SNDK is still an absolute monster. It's getting a little concerning here. This is what, the second day in a row where we've gapped up. Is that what you've got, like on your daily chart?
Sorry.
This thing is gapping up.
Sorry. Yep.
Can we just see something like this happen in SPY? We had several days where we gapped up and then we kind of slowed down.
Shopify down 6.7% here. Let me take a look at that. Ooh. Well, Shopify, the pull out of the open held the pre-market impulse low on the earnings print. Tesla, I'm still seeing call buys on Tesla, by the way. And that DGXX, that little curl kind of stopped there at that resistance area.
It's kind of just sideways right now, just hanging between the smaller EMAs and the 65 EMA.
Okay, Mark is asking, IREN before earnings, is there any play? So, one of my coworkers likes trading IREN. I'm trying to kind of watch and figure it out. Earnings in 2 days, I have no idea what to expect from the earnings here on IREN. But I would like to open this up to the group because I'm kind of interested in this also. Does anyone else have a thought here on an IREN trade, whether chart, fundamental based, news based, anything like that? Let me know if you have anything here on IREN. Mark, I'm sorry, I don't have anything for you here. I'm still in my due diligence phase here on IREN.
There's a trend line on the daily chart. We're trading above it right now, but this is one that we broke out of, and then we came back in and to test the 200. We lost it, but now we're back above it. And we're still holding above the 20-day SMA. I think that 20-day SMA and this trend line I'd be keeping an eye on. If we start to lose that, then we're going to come back to the 200 again, and which isn't a very long distance, but that's just what it looks like. So we want to see this trend line and this 20-day active support. Yeah, just like that.
Figured. Gore saying SMCI before earnings ? Look, this is still the same for me. I'm sorry if I'm being boring about this. I have zero interest in SMCI. You mentioned here just because of the legal trouble in the past. Are you sure it's still in the past? You willing to bet your hard-earned money or your life on that? I don't know. Revenue to valuation makes it seem very undervalued. Okay, to me, I just have zero interest in SMCI. I would turn that over to the group, though. Anyone else on a bull case for SMCI?
No.
Yeah, I didn't think so, but figured I'd ask. Figured I'd do the due diligence on that one.
When we looked at this after it had all that news and it really started taking a hit in 2024, I came to discover that this isn't the first time they did something like that. This company will repeat their illegal activity again. I don't want to touch this thing.
Palantir, shout out Lion. Palantir, I know you were talking about shorting that. Palantir is rolling lower here.
Palantir,
130, 90. I think was the target.
90 was my target. I gave that back in January, I believe. January or February. I said, this thing's looking like it's going to go to 90. So we will see.
Lower we go here today.
A lot of people don't think it will, but we'll see.
Joe says SMCI needs to replace that sleazy CEO.
They need to replace their entire financial department and probably all their top brass. They need to do a lot of I mean, at that point, do you even want to own the company? I say no.
Frozen saying, didn't SMCI hire the same accountant team that committed the fraud?
Yep, that's exactly what they did. So basically they
It's
went
just-
through all of that circus. They slapped somebody with it, and then they fired some people, and then later on they hired them all back. That's why I'm saying this management will break the law again. So I don't want to touch this one. Your money's placed better somewhere else.
Yeah, it does feel like that. Also, this is a good time to mention all opinions are our own, and it is not financial advice.
No.
And if you're confused, as we've always said, if you're confused, find a financial advisor, find a fiduciary, find someone that can actually help you that's licensed to do so.
Looks like Mask down here testing the 200 EMA again. This thing may end up losing this EMA here. The more it hammers a moving average or a particular price level, the more likely it is to fall through, especially in these low volume situations where there's not enough participation for buyers to step in and lift this back up. So a little concerned about this, about Mask falling through the 200 EMA on the 5-minute here. Anything good?
No, Palantir, slow grind lower. Bitcoin, by the way, we talked about Bitcoin. I did a tweet yesterday about that, recapturing the 80K level. Bitcoin actually printed a high of 82,110 here today. It's back beneath 82, but it's another day where it's been fairly strong here. I've started to see some Bitcoin bulls come out of the woodwork a little bit. Maybe that continues.
Hey, maybe Webcoin, maybe. I hear that's a great place to do business if you don't if you're scammy.
If you're a fraudster.
If you're a fraudster, yeah. It's a great place for it.
Eli Lilly, Lion mentioning that Lilly's going here. Lilly up 1.26%, but Lion, we are looking at a possible break higher here on Lilly. See if we can recapture 1,000 on that. That'd be a big level.
You didn't hear that from me, Forever 21. But you know what? It's probably not a bad idea. He's saying, did I just hear 13 say buy Bitcoin instead of SMCI or Palantir? It's not what I said, but I don't think I disagree with it either.
I like your attempt there. Lilly, so Lion, you're long Lilly 1,000 calls expiring in June. Big B's got 100% on options this morning. Let's go, Eric. That I know you're saying on looking strong here. 102.5.
Blaze trying 8 again.
All right. I'm going to refresh Pro here. Hanging a little bit there. Good stuff, Big B's. Entry of 85 cents, currently 350 on the 160 call from yesterday. Check if there's a typo there, Big B's. I might just be reading it wrong. But good stuff. Good trade nonetheless. Here we go. Registering, especially there on.
Being asked about Exodus movement. EXOD. They have earnings in 7 days, a week from today. What does this company do? A self-custodial platform that connects people with the world of decentralized finance and the power of blockchain. Republic of Marshall Islands, Hong Kong, the British Virgin Islands, Seychelles, St. Vincent, and the Grenadines and others. That's where their geographical segments are.
SMCI new lows, by the way.
Yeah, I don't know about this one. It doesn't look like it has a lot of volume either. I mean, chart's kind of interesting, but man, that lack of volume. I'd say it'd probably be more interesting if it can, start closing above the 50-day SMA. That seems to be the big price suppressant right now. That's kind of where I would leave it at. Let's see if it can just get back above and start trading above the 50-day SMA again, and maybe even recapture 10.
Blaze is trying to make its second move through 8 as we speak.
Am I staying away from ASTS as it free falls? I haven't touched ASTS for a while. It's trading beneath its 200 EMA. This ASTS was great, and I traded it when it was going to the upside, but I think that there's more interesting space plays out there than this one. That's just my opinion, though. I know a lot of people like this stock,
and it's been a good mover.
Mm-hmm.
Been a good mover.
I think I would be expecting support just under 60, like let's say somewhere between 57 and 60. I think we should see some support there, and if we don't get it there, then it's probably going to be down in the mid 40s.
On getting another mention here. I'm glad our group is on here today. This 103 now and above 103. This indeed looking strong. Eric, I'm going to give you another register ring. Great call here earlier on buying the dip on this one. We closed the entire gap, which we talked about. Now we'll see how much higher we go. Yesterday's intraday high on about 105. JJ mentioning sober. That was one of the movers earlier. Looked like that was going into a resistance area. JJ, how did we end up on that? 140. Did we get above that high from Friday? We did. We did. Now it looks like it's trying to hold higher than that. It's SOBR, sober safe. Good mention, JJ. It did get above that. Pins. So the profit taking, this got bought back above its VWAP on pins. Does anyone like trading this? I feel like I don't understand Pinterest. I never really trade it. Likes to make these 19, 20% moves.
We're getting asked about SKM, which is SK Telecom. It's a South Korean wireless provider, I think the largest one. This looks like the kind of stock that you just have in your longer term portfolio. It pays a pretty decent dividend. At least that's the approach I would take with this. I don't know how great this trades. It's not something I typically look at. I would say that if you're looking for support and resistance levels right now, it's trying to recapture the 20-day SMA. But if it can't do that and it comes back in, you have support at 36, and beneath that, I would say just under 34. And then you get into a gap fill to the downside that's going to take you to the 50-day SMA. Those would be the next three areas I'd be looking for support for resistance for upside resistance. Right now, it looks like 38 to me.
Copen getting hammered down. Whoever was selling this yesterday, I can't remember who it was. That was great job trading yesterday. Right into the highs, lightning this. This did pull back here. We're still above yesterday's open, but definitely a rough day for Copen here this morning. Fly, you're talking about that dropping. Let me go back to the big chart there because that actually ran into a resistance area, if I'm not mistaken. Let me bring this chart up here again. I know we took a look at that, but I actually stepped away earlier. Give me a sec here, 13.
DGX had a big drop down to the 65 EMA. Mask crashed right through that 200. So that's what I was trying to warn about is moving average is getting hammered, and now we're falling right through it. Blaze is holding up.
Real quickly here, 13 on Fly. This is what we were saying here on Fly. This thing went right to that 20. We talked about this yesterday, actually, on Happy Hour. Could not get above it. Now it looks like we're rejecting it. 29.5, probably your next support.
Yeah, some are there, or maybe one of the two moving averages in that region, which is going to be the 50 and the 200-day SMAs. That looks like you could get some support. It's going to be like you said, 29.50. Maybe it's more like 28.90 to 29.50. So, we'll see. Lots of stuff getting hammered today.
LWLG, Eric, that's been one of Kathy's. That's been on a huge run recently. Haven't looked at it yet today, though. It's like we're pulling back a little bit. Let's see what our 15-minute looks like. You were asking if it's at support. I kind of want to say it's a little bit lower. Maybe this is. Yeah, maybe this is a bit of a support level. I think this could come in lower though, honestly. 14.25. CW Parker, Ryan, with the Strait of Hormuz closed, have you been looking at corn, wheat, fertilizer, and ethanol? No, I haven't been trading any of those futures. I don't trade any of those future contracts. Guys, on continues to scream higher here. 104s now on. We talked about 105 being the next spot line. You said it's got room to go much higher. What kind of price target do you have on ON? And then DGXX 13, you were saying this had a huge move down?
DGXX, Mask. I'm sorry, not Mask. No, Mask. That did have a move down. It moved through the 200 EMA. DGXX, that moved down through the 65 EMA. Trying to get some support right now. On semiconductor, there's a 2023 high that the price might run up to. So if we're going to visit that area, we're looking at 110.
That's exactly what Lion just said. 110. Okay.
Okay. All right.
DGXX right here at its 65.
Trying to hold that $5 level.
Indeed it is. Oh, and don't forget, folks, we do have Anne-Marie coming up in 22 minutes. So let me know if you have any tickers that you're looking for. Maybe we can even ask her about ON or AMD. Did we do an AMD the last time she was here? I feel like we looked at AMD on Friday. And what else do we have tonight? AMD, ANET, EA, MSTR, Mr. Oh, I can't wait to. Hopefully we get Jamie Dimon back tomorrow. DVN reports, Hecla Mining reports, Oxy reports. Okay. ANET. We got some reports.
Do have some reports. Looks like DGXX trying to pull itself back over the 65 EMA.
I think we have a couple of people that bought the dip there.
Mask not really trying to do the same thing with its 200, but still keeping an eye on that.
Replay Game Lab. Thanks, Ryan. You were the one selling Copen yesterday. You were doing well on that. It's doing better than the rest. Arcat on us. Yeah, the drones are hurt here again today. Today's buys are Powell and GEV. That's POWL and GEV, which we obviously know. Powell Industry is another one of those power stocks here.
It hit an all-time high today.
Yep, 310. Backed off that. Several of you folks are mentioning Poet. Poet screaming to the upside here, $8. Anyone have another spot here on Poet? SPY actually market's taking the next leg up here.
Poets, what does the price action look like today already? That's a daily. The 828 level, 828, 830, that might be a resistance spot. Based on how the price actions run up to that area and been rejected and pretty much all year, with the exception of that move higher last month. But you also have the 20-day SMA right there as well. We just went up to it. Just like that.
Only major theme for 2026 that I liked is struggling. Some space and drone plays, and I think it's still early for that. All of those are strong. Memory, grid, optical, and semis. And then Eric, thank you. You like Poet in the sixes, but anything above it is a little expensive. We've actually seen this stock run to double digits very, very quickly. Maybe you get another one of those. On continuing to push higher here. I think 105's coming here today. I'm seeing on puts, 100 puts get bought into this move higher.
It's another slow day. We still have international markets closed, so there's going to be a lack of participation.
Where let me check where we're at on those volume numbers here real quick. 13 SPY volume 6.2 million. Jeez. 45 minutes into the market, 6.2 million shares traded on SPY.
You need to calm down there. Mask getting a little bit of a lift here. It's coming back up to its 200 EMA. DGXX still trying to climb back over its 65 EMA. CLRB, this one has pretty much done nothing all morning. Maybe something will happen here when it finally tests the 200, but it's pretty much giving everything back.
Palantir looks like this is trying to curl, but I think that 139.25 is got to be. It's going to have to be first there.
Joe, I think that's a bit of a tough question because there's a lot of money that's getting not just only put into the space sector, like where NASA operates, but the defense sector as well. I think that you're probably going to want to start looking at the space sector as also, very much a defense angle as well. That's where we're headed. We're headed for weapons in space.
Yeah, and I mean, my other follow-up question here, this is a good question. Joe's question, by the way, what sort of financial commitment has the U.S. government declared for the space sector? Now, are you talking about just the public space stocks, the private space stocks? I mean, I think this is tens of billions of dollars. Is there even like a single round figure, 13, that you know of?
No, because that's why I'm saying it's kind of difficult because, you have NASA, you have defense, you have medical research. I mean, you have a lot of there's a lot of different angles that the U.S. government's going to provide financial commitments that involve going into space. So there's some biotech research that for example, like Pfizer, they use space to conduct experiments. So as do many biotechs. So it's a really difficult question to answer because it's not just this money's going to the space sector. This money's going here, 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 and here, and we're going to be using space to do the research. So I really can't give a single financial amount, but I think it's to make it easy, it's substantial. Just to make it easy.
And I would say I'm struggling to give you a round number too. I would say tens of billions of dollars per year, and that looks to be increasing. In addition to that, like for a lot of what 13 is saying, they're doing research. It's not just payloads to space. Like there's a lot of stuff going on. So that's the best I can do. Tens of billions per year.
Yeah, and we're going to have data centers in space. I know we joked and heckled that years ago, but this is where the money's headed. This is, and we're going to need data centers in space if we're going to do all the things we want to do with the moon and Mars and asteroids. They're not going to be necessarily the most highest performing data centers, but they're going to be very reliable, and we're going to need them. So there's a lot of money to be made there.
Did you catch the news story that I reported today about Peter Thiel's backed startup for data centers in the sea?
No.
Panthalassa secured $140 million in a funding round aimed at propelling its AI-powered sea technology. So forget space, 13. We got space, sea. We got anything that'll cool these damn things down. On, by the way, 105 test coming.
Yeah, I don't know about the sea.
Ondas, new lows. Oh, man, not a good day for Ondas. Sorry, Retro. Not that I made it go down or anything. On 120 calls, these expire June. You're not the only one buying the dip, Eric. Oh, that 105 test. There's actually a seller there at 105 on. This is going to happen right here. Here's 105 test. And through. I see Prince higher, bang, right through. So what about that chart that we shared last week about Tuesday being the most profitable day? Some more really good calls here. We got Lion Short and Palantir. We got Eric going long on the on dip. Both of those things are paying here. The earnings call on was phenomenal. You have any, what were your three biggest takeaways from it? Market here is absolutely rewarding. I mean, we closed that gap quick. And this thing's still strong.
I don't think we should be ignoring Global Foundries, GFS.
Okay.
I think this is one to continue to pay attention to. Maybe I'm a little late in saying this, but this is one of the names that we have talked about in the past as being an alternative to TSMC, and I guess now Intel and Samsung, because this company also fabricates chips.
I mean, this company making another parabolic move. Eric saying the data center rev doubled. That's one of your big drivers there. Yeah, that's going to be bullish.
Yeah, Google is the big takeaway from their earnings.
Yep, bingo. Lion here saying I think on is going to slice through 105. It's going through it right now and go higher. You had 110 as your target earlier. I'll tell you what, this so far has been working. 13, do you have any target here on GFS?
We're getting pretty close to the all-time highs. That's going to be at about.
We sure are.
So I think this is going to have to back off from this rally it's had. So I could see this getting up to 80 and then starting to cool a little bit. But right now we're at an 83.5 RSI on the daily. It's already extended. But so I would think that there's going to be some selling pressure coming soon. I just don't know exactly when, but I think it would happen closer to 80.
Jay, did you know MCHP, on Amcor, Intel, and now TSM all headquartered in Arizona? Arizona is going to be our chip area, huh?
That's challenging. An area that needs, all those manufacturers and they need water, which they don't get a lot of.
Yep, that's a good point, 13. That is a good point. MBIS is flying up. That thing got hit recently. Nice little bounce back for MBIS. God, look at this thing. Of the last couple of years, this is my biggest pike, no doubt. Thanks to Zoltan, who's just extremely sharp. Bought this initially at $17.50. Sold it in the mid-20s. No bueno. Look at this break, back test, and move higher. MBIS. Futures are pulling a little bit. Selena saying that the jolts are out. Let's give you that print here.
I was up 20 minutes ago.
Yeah, I know. I'm just going back and getting it. I guess if you don't want it, 13, I'll just move on. Fine. That's
what I'm saying.
USA Jolts job openings for March, 6.866 million versus the 6.86 million estimate. So a little bit higher there.
I think why you're getting this market pull all of a sudden is because a headline just came out that the UAE saying the air defense are currently dealing with missile and drone attacks originating from Iran.
And we also got a headline yesterday that the UAE seems like they're growing a little tired of this and might join and kind of quash this whole thing.
I think a lot of countries in the region.
I think you're right. I think you're right.
It wouldn't surprise me to see Saudi Arabia join UAE and retaliating. Okay, so DGXX still trading lower. CLRB trying to turn around here, but man, the volume in these names are just awful.
CLRB, that's one of the movers. I don't even think I've looked at that since we've opened here, 13.
There's nothing to look at.
Okay, well, that's why then.
There is a trend line though. Let's see if that gives us anything. I just drew it from the 720 high through the high of the open, and that gives us a bit of a. It looks like it lines up pretty well with the 65 EMA. So if we moved up right now, we would clear both of those at the same time.
Eric says, I know war is serious, but this has been a headline war and it's been frustrating. Oh my goodness. Amen to that, Eric. I have complete agreement with you. I'm at the point now, I'm definitely frustrated as well. I mean, I'm tired. I just want it to be over at this point. Definitely bought into it's going to be a really quick thing, and it's of course longer than initially anticipated. I'm still holding out hope that it's not going to be that much longer, but we'll see.
Iran's getting a ton of help from China, and China's trying to get the United States into a prolonged conflict with Iran. So they want to drain our resources and make it easier for them to do all the illegal activities they love to do. So that's the only reason why Iran is still around right now, is because China's propping them up.
And that Trump Xi meeting, that's middle of May 15th. I'd have to Google that. Let me just do that real quick. I'll do that for you.
Lion, do you think they hate Saudis enough to where they're going to just continue to just get hammered by the same country that's heading both of them? I think they'll put that aside. Wow, USAR had a fantastic day. It sank out of the open, went down to 24.79, and now it's up to just hit a high of 26.38.
Oh, Yahoo, your website is horrific. Eric, give me the date.
Eric, I believe it's supposed to be May 15th.
Thank you. That's what I was asking. That's what I said.
Okay.
Let me tell you, I generally don't try to slander people here, but trying to read that news article on Yahoo was a complete and total disaster. Get your life together. Just throwing it out there. All right, let's see. What else do we have out there? Starting to get a bounce in some of these names that got pounded. The only one not participating is Netflix. Netflix still sub 90. Onda's trying to curl a little. We'll see if it gets it. Velo trying to curl a little. Bitcoin trying to curl a little. Amazon trying to curl a little. Apple at new highs. How's Intel doing, actually? I know we checked on that earlier. Let's see what Intel ended up doing. Back of that news there with Apple. On, by the way, still holding 105. And Richard Judge, take care of yourself, my man. Judge. Intel. This actually took another leg higher here. 109 coming here on Intel. DRAM up almost 10%. And DRAM right at the highs, too. Intel 120 calls. That's not a whole lot, though. It's 31K bet. Qualcomm also on the scanner and some call flow.
Looks like we're still trying to push Inspire, trying to push up towards the all-time high. We're about $1.40 away from it.
And we did get the 723 cross there. Thank you for reminding me. 724 looks like it's 724.87, I think, is that all-time high?
I have 724.87. Yep.
Perfect. Micron still at the highs. Oh. Take a look at Owl. That's Blue Owl, that private credit thing finally turning around.
Supercross happening today.
On Owl?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, this is actually a pretty nice move. So this thing really kind of fell from what, like 30s? Yeah, 28 about. So what kind of target do we have on the upside here on Owl?
I'd say 12.
Large and sexy, headed to the dirt track. Have a good one.
I'd say
What'd
12.
you say, sorry?
I'd say 12 for now.
Okay. 12 is going to be right in here.
Yeah.
That was a level that it lost earlier. 13, that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. Robot, that's probably a better thing for Anne Marie. There's a put seller at 14. Let's see here. Well, that's pretty much where we went up to. And this is extended. I mean, I'm looking for 15, but if 14's as high as it goes for now, that's okay too. I mean, we're still very extended. Where does we come down to? Looking to me like I would start with 11. Maybe it does. Maybe it initially finds support there, 10 or 11. I don't know that that's going to be the where it stops selling. But that's where I'd be looking at that range there for support.
On looks like it's finally running into some intraday resistance in that 105 handle. We shall see. Poet. Wow, that took another leg higher, folks. I took Poet off the screen. We did take another leg higher there.
Yeah, we're actually getting very close.
Yikes.
What's going on with CLRB?
It's going lower. It's going to completely give back this entire pop.
Oh yeah, it's almost completely back there, isn't it?
Yep.
Well, anyway, so the Poet, if this continues to climb, I think I'd be looking at 12. If you look at a monthly chart, that's a very standout spot of resistance, $12.
Okay, that's for Poet.
Mm-hmm.
Lion says, I'm going to take some profit in Lilly ahead of the NVO report. That makes sense. Are you closing all of it or just partial? I like the idea of booking gains ahead of the binary event, honestly. G-Man says, Intel will reverse at 110. Okay.
Not trying to get anybody excited, but DGXX climbed back above at 65 EMA. I think the one that's to be more excited about is just USAR. Maybe let's look at CRML. How's that doing today? CRML is up 6%. Does that look like on the daily chart? So we're still trying to deal with this resistance. It looks like it's about 1450. So we're still trying to deal with that. CRML hasn't put in as great of a move as USAR, but it seems like it's kind of following the price action of USAR. Yeah, Intel is way too high. I don't think I'd be a buyer up here. A way to play AMD earnings. Well, there's these leveraged ETFs if you want to try those. Let's see here. I'll give you them.
He says he's already in the stock at 347.
Yeah.
Well, I would say if you're worried, if you wanted to hedge that, you could probably use puts to hedge off your long stock position. But I like 13's idea here of using some of the inverse ETFs to gain exposure to the move too, to hedge your position as well.
Yeah, here I'll type those in. Let's see, you got AMDL and AMDG. These are 2x bull, and then you have AMDS and AMDD. These are 1x bear. There you go. Those are a couple of trading vehicles for you for AMD.
All right, 13. We are waiting for Anne Marie. She did say she was going to be a minute late, though.
No problem. No problem at all. Hey, no problem. And good luck with your AMD trades. All right, let's see what else we got here. Light, LITE, after some selling, once it hit 1,004, this has come down, found support around the 875 area, and now it's climbing back up into the 979 area, and now it's climbing back up into the 990s. And
13, I'm going to try refreshing a couple of things before Anne-Marie gets here. I'm getting a little sluggish here. Just give me a sec.
Sure. Yeah, a lot of the semis and memory names, yeah, they're all going on a great run. So it wouldn't surprise me if those came back in. TMC levels. Let's take a look here. Well, we do have this 50-day SMA that the price is trying to recapture. It's been working on that for the past several days. If we do get a move back up through the 50, the price is going to, or the two moving averages, the 20 and the 50-day SMAs, they're going to result in a silver cross as long as we hold above that 50-day SMA. I would say 575 is going to be your next resistance area above that 50-day SMA. And then if we get above that, you have the 200. So those will be the next three upside area, or the next three resistance areas I'd be looking at for TMC.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can, but you are still like you're.
Yeah, my video is frozen. You can still hear me, which is crazy, and I can't click on it. Oh, there we go. There we go.
You're still frozen.
Yeah, my camera's frozen. I just tried to share. You can still hear me though, right? This is so strange.
You didn't wait 30 seconds when you did that refresh, did you?
I literally clicked refresh, and this is what happens. Okay, producer, I'm frozen here, but you can still see me, so we're okay. Anne-Marie's here. He's ready. Producer, I'm going to need your help. I'm going to need 13. Any closing words for the group?
Everybody, it's been another fun day trading with you. Hey, you're moving now. I was going to say, have fun with this stiff over here, but anyway, he's moving again. Have a great time with Anne-Marie. She's going to give you some great knowledge and provide some options trade. So have fun. I'll see you tomorrow. I got to get out of here. Take care, everybody. Have a great rest of your Tuesday. Goodbye.
All right, 13, take care. We'll see you later tonight, and you'll be back with the stiff tomorrow to try and do some more. Take care of yourself, 13. All right, 13's departure. Actually, this looks like I'm working, so I don't know. That refresh just took a few seconds. Thanks for being patient, folks. Let's bring on Anne-Marie and see how she's doing. Anne-Marie, I apologize in advance. You got some time with the stiff here.
Well, listen, another day with antics, internet antics galore. So we're all good.
This is what we do, though. All right, Anne-Marie, I'm going to go ahead and share your screen. Let's see what we got today. We got the infinite loop.
Oh, dear. Oh, dear. All right. Let's, how weird is that? Okay. Let's, how about, okay, so weird. Oh, man. I can't even get it to stop. Stop. Okay. I think I'm going to have to leave and come back.
I think
none of my things are working.
Oh, so are you trying to click on stuff and nothing's happening?
I am, yeah.
That's what just happened to me. That's that on that little, when everyone's making fun of me about being frozen, that's exactly what's happening to me. I can't click on anything. The producer here is saying you got to stop your screen share and then reshare the screen share.
I'm trying to stop
and it's not letting. Yeah. Okay. Well, I'll tell you what, I can do a dance and a jig here if you want to go back and forth.
Yes, I'll go back out and I'll come back in.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. So, and this is, folks, first of all, I apologize about all this. Obviously, if it's not your first day here, you realize that we've had internet trouble before, but this definitely seems to be a restream thing, right? Bob says it's a China hack, maybe. It's just, it definitely seems laggy and it has like these odd things going on here, but we seem to be okay. We'll get Anne-Marie back here and we'll go ahead and go through it. In the meantime, let me actually throw up Pro. We can take a look at some of the stuff that's moving around here. Okay, there's Pro. Let me just roll through some of the tickers that we're moving here. Intel right up near that 110 area. And you know, who mentioned AIOS earlier? I think someone mentioned this, but I didn't get to it. This thing has been a halt fest here. AIOS Tech. What does this do? Artificial intelligence and technology-driven pro services. Okay, so this is just another AI name. Digital transformation services. Okay, Anne-Marie, you're back. Let's go ahead and let's get rid of my screen here. Yep. Producer, you are crushing it right now. Okay, Anne-Marie, it looks like we're good now.
Awesome. All right. So how's the day been for you?
I'll tell you what, the day's actually not been terrible. Ondas being a little weak is about the only downside here. We're able to trade on semiconductor. That might be one that we want to take a look at for some options trades. They reported earnings, great report last night, doubled their data center revenue. That thing's screaming higher here today.
And so
it's been a decent day.
ON?
Oh, just ON.
ON.
On is the shoe company. ON is the semiconductor company.
Oh, okay. Awesome.
They have to make it confusing for us. They can't make it easy on us.
Absolutely. So if we just take a look at the heat map, we can see we've got tech and semis doing great. Industrials doing okay. Healthcare, a little wiggly. And then, of course, financials are a little rough. So yeah, let's go take a look at ON. So this one had a really nice earnings response. It's sitting in here intraday, staring at things. So the baseline event, here's something supremely interesting. A doji that appears near, or actually best said, the doji with the highest volume event. A break of that doji in either direction gives us continuation. And so what we are seeing is the doji from, what day is that? The 27th, just giving us upward flow, targets all the way to 115. Here's the fly in the ointment. So what we are staring down is upward flow that's so speedy that it gives us a little bit of it gives us a little bit of a warning shot in terms of continuation. The best bet is going to be to wait for the fade and then pull it to the north. Two big things are happening. The markets are actually being gamed, but we know from September they're going to be extremely bullish. In the interim, though, we had something really dramatic happen with the bond auctions and what happened to the 10-year bond yesterday. It exploded higher. And so that tells us the bond rate exploded higher. And so this tells us that we've got a little bit of rough seas ahead. So what's the bottom line? If you like ON, then your thought should be, hey, let's see how well it did last earnings under the current noise. Let's clear the drawing set. No, not there. Not even there. Let's clear the drawing set. From the last earnings price extension, it went all the way to 6x. Just straight up. And so now we've got this bigger range that could easily come down 2x before moving up. And so I know a lot of us are short-term traders, but I have to tell you, time is going to be your friend here. Trust me. on this when I say, wow, that's a lot of ringing right there. So time is going to be our friend. And if we look at ON, what we end up seeing is let's take a look at where this is. The puts are underpriced and the calls are also underpriced from theoretical perspective. So if you're saying to yourself, listen, I want to participate here and I don't care about waiting, I just want to get in, then I would say go to September. And you can see they're all piling in at the 105 already. That's at the money. You can go 105 to 120 to 135, and it's $1.73, which is $1,500 of upside for $173 if you believe this chart is going to give you further pressure to the north. If you say, hey, what about the pressure for the next couple of days? You know, I don't like to trade those long things. I want pressure for the next couple of days. Let's see where they are. The options are incredibly overpriced. No, the theoretical price is still higher. So this is interesting. On both sides of the fence, the theoretical prices are higher. So we've got some sort of volatility collapse here. Could be post-earnings pressure, right? In terms of saying, hey, earnings came in, now we're releasing all of that. If you want to go long, just follow the money, right? 105 to 110. That is, you know, $1.88. Do you want to do yourself a butterfly and take that? You can. If you do the 110 and go to 115, it's going to be 61 cents. But you better be quick or that's going to be gone. Very, very important to see what happens right there. So I like that. If you think it's going to fade, then where does the money say it's going to fade to? 95. So you might say, let's see what the chart tells us. Oh, that's the floor of the earnings candle. So you could easily say, hey, I'm going to sell the 95.90 spread, but I mean, it only gives you 66-cent credit, and there's $66 for $500 of risk. Never feels good to me. So that would be the case, unless you said, listen, I want to buy this, and if it comes into 95, I will buy it. And that would be the only other thing I would suggest there for these guys.
Okay. Good stuff there on ON. By the way, for the day traders here, ON has pulled back to its first bullish fair value gap. And we'll see if it bounces here. Top of that gap right at 104, bottom of that gap at 103.50.
So let me show you something super interesting that is a little nugget I want to share with you. So the opening candle formations for most charts coming into, okay, so this was 413 yesterday. Notice that high. They haven't breached it. Notice the low. They're still holding it as a floor. So at this juncture, whoopsie, price action is still caught between 107 and 95. Notice the opening formation here, that 95, it came right into that edge, and now it's moving up here. This, my friends, I would say is very likely the top of this formation. because this candlestick gave us the range, and it gave us the range on at that pretty important spot right after earnings when other people plant their flag. So if I were a betting man, I would look for the following to hold. Here is our opening candle formation. That is the 930 candlestick, and the traders faded it and bought it back. If you position your 1 minute open at the 930 and you watch how the traders pile in and hold above it, it will give you directional flow way before your moving averages. Way before, because they plant the flag with volume, and if they hold above it, they continue in that trend. The ones who tried to plant the flag short will turn around and go long, and what they will do is rotate in a Fibonacci on a 1 minute. So take a look at this. And of course, I have data to prove this out, but look at it at the 500. Right on the edge, double
Perfect.
topping.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I think
pretty
that was
amazing stuff. So for those of you that love to trade intraday, that 1 minute candlestick is going to be money in the bank for you in terms of telling you where your risk is, where your thresholds are, and what your potential upshot is during the course of a day.
Okay. All right. Really good stuff. Anything else that you want to do today, or should I ask the group? We've got more earnings
Ask
today.
the group. Yeah. Talk about, actually, you know what's great? Let's see about the earnings that we've had past, because what I
Good
like
idea.
to do is let the earnings candle create its floor, and then we take the trade. So we can see, like we look at Caterpillar, they reported 3-4 days ago, they're breaking out of the top of their formation. And so what they could easily do is rotate back down and then bounce. And so we have two choices. They trade into the first upward rotation, and that is 950. Or they trade down to the floor of the earnings candle, which is about 850. So easy thing to do there would be maybe go to the 29th of May and do an iron condor. And let's see if anybody's sitting in our spots. 850, nope, to 840, and then 950 to 940. That is more than half of the credit. Now, the fly in the ointment here is that this is a weekly contract. And so you might have to put it in there on the cheap and see if they'll let you do it. You might go, hey, listen, let me try and sell it for 650, see what gives. But that to me would be the ideal pressure event for Caterpillar because it's non-directional and it gives you flows. Let's see if they believe that that is true coming from here. Let's see how much they'll give us. 850. It's pretty good volume there to 840. We've got 900 all the way down at 8. And then, oh, that's interesting. 999. 960. It still gives us almost half the butterfly. Half the range of the iron condor. I love this, actually. I'm going to take that trade on the 15th. That looks really good to me.
There
All
we
right.
go. Set up a trade that she's going to take herself, folks. That's what we do here.
I do like this one a lot. Okay. What else did you guys see that we had last week that we maybe were waiting on for price action?
We got two suggestions from the chat. I don't know if they fit that criteria. Shop, which reported this morning, and then Eli Lilly.
Okay, let's do shop. And let's, wow, that's quite the compression right there.
Yeah, down
So,
8.5% on the back of that earnings today.
yeah. So let's see what the traders did when they came in to plant the flag. All right, this was yesterday. No, that was this morning, right? So they reported for the open. That's the opening candlestick formation, the low 121. Let's do this. Let's clear the drawing set and let's take a look at, that's our opening candle high, opening candle low. Come on, Fred. And then high. And where are we sitting? Interesting. We are above the low of that opening candle formation, right? So here's the interesting thing. Looks to me like the traders came in and said, let's see if we can fight our way above 119 or fight our way below 115. My thought is the following. Because of all of this congestion for the last couple hours or an hour and such, the breaks are going to give you the trade. So today, if you want to intra-day trade this, you wait for the break above 119 and see if you can take it into 121 and then 122. If it loses 115, see if it gets back to 113. So about $2 of ranging, but at the end of the day, what it's doing is holding that opening range. So it's telling you, hey, listen, nobody else is selling off. They tried to sell it down. I would venture to say, if I drew Fibonacci there, that would be a 50% rotation. So let's see if my eyeballs do me justice. And what do you know? 50% fade, pulls it to the top. So they tried to force it down and it held. That's going to give you your forward motion. If it loses this 115 edge, 113, next likely spot, and then 111. But so far, they're saying, you know what? Let's just see how this settles out. Traders are being very quiet right here in the space. Of course, they are following the broad market. The broad market has stalled out since it began battling the high region at about 940 or so. We've had easily 20, 30, 40,000 contracts pass through in just these few minutes, sitting right here in this big pocket of noise. It's very, very interesting.
Okay, that's good stuff on shop. The other one was Lilly.
Okay. So I'm a little nervous about what's going on with Lilly. So let's take a look at the big picture first.
Does it have anything to do with NVO's earnings that are coming here today?
No, but I need to write that. You think NVO, that's Novartis that has the alternative product?
Novo Nordisk.
No, Novo Nordisk.
Now,
Okay.
and actually, I'm sorry here. I have it on. It is, I'm sorry, Anne-Marie. It's going to be tomorrow before the market opens. It's not this afternoon. It's tomorrow morning. NVO's earnings.
Okay, NVO tomorrow. All right, I will.
If I'm going to give you information, it's got to be right. That's my
trust but verify is my philosophy.
There you
so
go. There you
I'm
go.
always,
There you go.
I'm always there to back up my fellow friends. So here's what we have. I personally am very concerned about these drug companies that have really pushed these things to market that have caused a lot of people getting very sick. Even though they're wonderfully thin, they're getting very sick. And, you know, I just saw a picture of Ariana Grande. Have you seen a picture of her lately?
No, the last time I saw a picture of her, though, my thought was she doesn't need Ozempic. She needs a cheeseburger.
I know, with icing is what she needed, a cheeseburger with icing. So sadly, oh my, literally The Walking Dead. But in any case, I feel like, although I think that that's psychological also, I believe that we're going to see a giant onslaught of very big lawsuits coming out in the next bit for Lilly. And, you know, I still have my fingers crossed for RFK Jr. that he's able to pull some strings to make life more feasible for us. You can buy direct from the manufacturer now, pharma, which is good and bad. But here's what we're seeing. They reported, and the very next day broke above their earnings event. That is a continuation sign. So in my mind, the next spot for these guys is the top of the last earnings event, and it's sitting potentially right in between the extensions that we have here. So pullbacks very likely to be buy zones. They have a dividend in 15 days, but so you might want to be careful if you buy options that are in the money. That's going to affect things somewhat, but dips are definitely buys. And so again, I would say the best bet is, if we take a look at May, we have, oh my gosh, would you believe I forgot these numbers already? 850 and then 1100. So we have 850, no premium left here. So they definitely know that that is very likely to hold. And then 1100, also really no premium left there in May. So let's go to June, see what they're saying. First, let's see if it's overpriced, underpriced. Underpriced right now, some volume there, 850 to 840. And then we can do, these go in 20 lots here. So 1100 to 1120, and then 850 to 830. That's not a ton of premium. So these guys have got volatility very compressed. If you want to take the long trade, just follow the money. Is it going to be expensive? Probably, right? So if you want to follow the money and give yourself a $20 spread, so you have some control. Oh, the 1,000 to 1,020 to 1,040 before June is only 60 cents.
That actually sounds great.
That sounds fantastic. Even my other machine agrees.
I was going to say, you're over here slanging. I heard order fills. I hear alerts. I hear all types of stuff there.
Yeah. So don't like the iron condor, but that is a really cheap butterfly. See if you can get it filled. That looks very exciting to me because the chart does seem to have upward flow. They are
okay,
really
so 1,000,
pushing it forward.
1020, and 1040 are your three strikes. The expiry is June. I got that priced at 65 right now, 65 cents.
Nice. So awesome. It's running great. It's running great. All right. So Lilly. All right. What else? What else we got?
Well, we're going to have to ask again on Friday because we're out of time.
Oh, Oh, fantastic.
That was perfect. It's literally 11 o'clock on the dot. So I don't know
Awesome.
if you could have planned that any better. Anne-Marie, really good stuff here. Look, we are on for Friday, correct?
Yes,
so we're going to be good
sir.
for that. I am looking
Yes,
forward to
sir.
that without a doubt. We'll see what we get with earnings between here and there. By then, Coinbase and CoreWeave will have reported.
Ooh,
So
yes.
that's Thursday night. So that should be fresh for us on Friday. So we should be in good shape there.
Awesome.
All right.
See you later.
Anne-Marie, have a good rest of your Tuesday. Take care.
You too. Thanks.
All right.
Bye.
We will see Anne-Marie again on Friday. Really good stuff for her as per usual. And also as per usual, we dealt with some tech issues here, but y'all folks made it through that. We made it through that. Have a great rest of your Tuesday. Stay green, stay safe, stay focused. We'll catch